Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but I've been...
My LCS at the time, I think, only had this first one.
Oh, that first trade. Yeah, because it's like, it was a pretty long-running series, I think. Or as far as I can remember.
As far as your, like, you know, lesser-known indie titles, or not even really indie. Image isn't really indie.
Not anymore, but I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, you know, the minor publishers
See,
compared
like,
to the big two.
yeah, there needs to be a better term for that, because I run into that with you all the time. It's like,
yeah.
They're not, like, indie publishers, but they're not major, but they are, but they're not the big two. So, like,
maybe
semi-major.
call them, like, AA publishers.
I
AAAs?
would call them AA, but that term doesn't get used in comic books. So, like, I go, I don't know what it means. So, no, but I know exactly what you mean. But yes,
maybe like the equivalent of like a B movie.
That's exactly what it is. Like, not the, like if you have like Warner Brothers and Disney, then you have like your A24s or your. Yeah, I was gonna say Lionsgate, but nobody likes anything coming out of Lionsgate. I'm only thinking of that because earlier, earlier today, Cider and I were talking about the 2017 Power Rangers movie, and that's from Lionsgate, yeah. So that's why it's stuck in my head. Yeah,
you know,
it's
I
bad.
actually like a lot of that movie and dislike a lot of that movie. It's a weird.
What do you like? What do you like? Genuinely, what do you like?
I actually enjoy the story. And I enjoy the dynamic between the kids. I hate the suits because I'm like, this is just Iron Man. This is Iron Man with like biotech is all it is. This is the nano suit, or
it is the nano suit.
Like,
yeah,
that's all this is. Like, come on, guys. Like, this isn't the Sentai.
I mean, even their power chest things were just the what do you call it? The arc reactor. Yeah. It was just that.
That's all it was. And so I was like, come on. Like, I get it. Iron Man. And, you know, the Marvel stuff is super popular still, so I get you wanted to jump on the superhero-ish train, but you don't have to do that with Power Rangers. You really don't. It can succeed on its own.
Well,
and I actually really liked what they did with Rita, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You like what they did with Rita, or you like the character of Rita? Because, like, I can get behind the character of, or like liking the concept of their Rita, but the way she was played and the way she was acted out by Elizabeth Banks, I hated it.
So
There were a couple
of scenes that I definitely didn't like where it felt like super out of character based on how they had presented her. It felt like a completely different character. So like the stuff with like the donuts and you know, a couple other things where it was like, this isn't meant to be a parody. Like, it felt almost like they were trying to lean into how kind of goofy the original Mighty Morphin was at times, but it felt completely disconnected
because
and
they were trying to be like that instead of because like in the 90s that was just the 90s
That's just how it was.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
It was organic in that regard, but like they had presented up to that point for the most part Rita as being like this, like, she wasn't a caricature like she was in the old 90s show, right? Like, she was actually kind of scary comparatively, right? And so it's like, why are you all of a sudden like trying to add in this like Joss Whedon goofy humor here where it doesn't belong. It's not necessary. I did like that she was like the original Green Ranger.
I actually liked that.
I thought that
liked
was
that
really
twist.
cool, and it explained her armor as well. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, like it was one of those things where I wish I could have been in the room and say, yes, 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 no,
no,
hell no.
What you didn't enjoy Kimberly revenge porn or Jason drinking bull jizz to start off the movie?
No, that was
like that's what Cider and I walked away from. We were like, because he was telling me that he used to work with a preschool for like developmentally challenged kids, and he would work with specifically the autistic kids. And they would love when he came in and he talked about Power Rangers because he loves Power Rangers. They loved it. All the colors, all the action.
Well,
yeah,
he's
great
got
thing.
a whole thing that he's doing on the side that is sort of a
Which
Power
I
Rangers
can't.
Sentai-esque thing.
I really want him to get that out because we've been talking about it for like the last few months, and this series that Cider is working on has so much potential. Like genuinely, not just saying it from a friend, that I really want him to get it out there. But the autistic kids were like, "Yeah, we love Power Rangers." Da 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 da. And then when Cider brought in the trailer for the movie for the 2017 one, they didn't care. They were like, "This is dumb. This is too adult." And I'm like, if you lost the autistic kids on Power Rangers, you've clearly missed the mark, and that's where
you're off to the wrong start.
we came to this like conclusion point that it's like it's too kiddie, like going with that dumb like donut humor and all those stupid jokes that I just referenced. That's too kiddie for these quote unquote like adult audience you're trying, because like the movie doesn't know what it wants to do. It acts like it wants to be this mature not YA, but like slightly elevated over YA drama version of the Power Rangers.
Some of the interactions with the kids felt YA for sure.
But that's what I'm getting at, right?
It felt kind of CW in certain moments.
But that's what I'm getting at is like they want that identity of like more mature, grounded Power Rangers, but they didn't want to commit all the way. So then somebody in the boardroom goes, no, this has got to be for kids too. Don't forget kids. So they throw in dumb stuff like that. Like, isn't this relatable to everybody? These YA moments, and they're not. So then you just get like, you didn't commit all the way to one idea or the other, and now you're in the middle of just this gross black-brown mess.
Yeah.
Like when you screw up cooking in Zelda, and you get that like...
in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah,
and Tears of the
I know
Kingdom.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Literally the worst feeling when you put like really nice ingredients in the pot and that comes out just
right, ingredients that take a little bit of work to acquire too.
Yeah, not the like Hylian shrooms that are everywhere.
Yeah, no, those you can trip over if you take a left at any point.
Oh yeah,
anywhere.
I mean, people will just give them to you. Just like go up to talk to somebody and they'll be like, "Are you Link?" "No." "Okay, we'll have a mushroom." It's like, all right.
And then the next person, "Are you Link?" "Yeah." "All right, here's a mushroom."
Here's a mushroom. Same reward. Doesn't matter. We're just giving away mushrooms. But yes, guys, welcome back. It is Thursday evening. It is me. It is Andrew. It is another issue episode of Foil Variant. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about this week. Obviously, we kicked off the Absolute universe with Absolute Batman. We got our more X-Men comics dropped this week, and we got a Venom issue. So there is a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, once we get into the DC stuff, that'll probably be a majority of our show. But aside from that, yeah, you guys have caught us. We are talking that awful power, or I guess Andrew kind of likes it, but that 2017 Power Rangers
relationship with it.
Because I was gonna say that awful Power Rangers movie, but I was like, we just got done talking about the points in which Andrew likes it, so I'll refrain.
That's fine. I'm not offended. There are a lot of reasons to dislike that movie.
Oh man,
and I agree with pretty much all of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, my favorite part about that entire thing was when the movie dropped, its first weekend came and went. That like Tuesday, it had done so bad that the directors went on Twitter and they were like, "Who's excited for that post-credit Green Ranger reveal? Aren't we all ready for a sequel?" And I'm like, you're giving away your post-credit scene to get
Right.
people to come into your movie, like on
Man,
a
that's bad.
yeah. I was like,
You're
oh
having to
no,
do that
but
because nobody else is talking about that
that's
post-credit.
that was
Green
it.
Reveal.
That was it. I was like, oh, nobody is here. This is bad.
Yeah, nobody went and saw it. I saw it opening night.
Did you?
I did see it opening night with a few friends.
Okay,
we
you
were
went with friends. That's fine. That's
yeah,
okay.
I wasn't that much of a loser.
I mean,
not yet.
I've seen some pretty bad films on my own.
I have a pretty decent track record with if I go to the theater like by myself, I usually come away being like, all right, well that wasn't a waste of time, or like that was.
But don't you mostly go solo to like special screenings? Like I know you went to Advent Children. You go to like the Spider-Man ones that they were doing earlier.
I go solo to just about everything. To be honest, but
me
okay.
too.
I still enjoy it, and I'm pretty selective with what I'm willing to spend money on, and so when I do, I'm usually not worried about rolling the dice. I guess if that makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Usually, I'm going to something that was like, this looks like I'm going to enjoy this.
At the
like
very
a pretty
least.
high level of confidence that I will, at minimum, have enjoyed it. Come away enjoying it. I might not love the movie. It might not be the greatest movie.
But you'll have enjoyed going
spend,
out and having watched a movie.
Yeah, I'll be like, all right, well, that was fun. I might not see it again, but that was fun.
I think my favorite solo movie experience that I ever did was when Ant-Man came out. When that movie came out, yeah, the very first one. I went to like a midday screening in LA where I lived at the time, at this like random theater that was down the street or like down the street. I went in, there was like nobody, there was maybe like one or two people in the front rows, but I was in the back all to myself. And I remember like, it was nice because it was sort of like, I'm enjoying this and I'm nerding out about it because I love that movie. And when I was watching it the first time, I'm like, what the?
First film's fun.
This is so good. I'm so impressed. Like I was blown away. I was like loving it. But I was like in my own little like nerd out pod. I didn't have to worry about like if the people next to me like were in the same vibe. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, this is sick. Like this is a good movie.
It's nice sometimes to not have to worry about like being perceived any particular way just because you were having a good time with a film.
I know. I don't need to be the next Twitter like main character. That doesn't need to happen to me.
Exactly.
All right, before we get into things, first up, you guys might notice down there is a link to a Discord server. This is I meant to tell you this right before we went live, but we got distracted with our Mechanica talk. That is the official server for Studio Kabuto Studios, my overall media portfolio thing. That is where we are currently hosting the foil variant discussion at server right there. Uh-oh. Am I still here? Are we back? Oh, I gotta go over here to be back. That's right. No, wait, you can hear me, I think. Andrew!
Oh, there I am. Okay.
Andrew!
All right.
Andrew!
There you are.
There we are.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I have no idea, but yeah, Zero's totally right. We hiccuped. I was good. You weren't. Who knows? But Corey says we are back, so we are okay. I guess we are back.
Okay.
I definitely think I will blame it alongside you on the Arizona internet because just like everything out here, it all doesn't work. This state has an infrastructure problem, like the country does. Oh, easy. I literally went to go hang out with a friend like last weekend, and as on the way out, there was like a massive wildfire that just like popped up, and I was like, "Yep, that sounds about right."
Gosh.
But yeah, guys, if you want to come hang out with me, or not with me, but if you want to come hang out with us, you can go into that Discord server right there. It'll be there all night. This is a temporary link. It'll expire after the show is over. I'll be putting up a new one every episode so you guys can join, but this way we can sort of limit who comes in. We don't get all these trolls or whatever. We make sure it's you guys who are joining and not, whatever crypto scam is running around. It is very bare bones right now. Andrew, I haven't worked on it since we did it the other night, so there's no...
about a week ago.
Yeah, so there's no rules. There's no rules or anything, but all the rooms are established. They're up. So if you guys want to come hang out, get in on it early, feel free to join. But that is what that link is right there.
Most simple, basic, bare bones rule: don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. That is 100% the number one rule. I was gonna just copy and paste the rules from your server because I'm like, he's already got them. Like they're right there.
If you did, I wouldn't be offended.
Yes.
And then just like tweak them however you want, or don't tweak them. I don't really care.
Like I said, your rules are pretty already good.
I feel like my server is a fairly tight ship.
You know what? I'd say it is. I don't think anything really bad happens in that server except for when it's New Comic Book Day, and then you and I don't shut up because we're just sharing everything in the comic den.
All of a sudden, all notifications.
All right. Speaking of comic books, what do you want to start with this week? We've got a pretty decent selection of books, if I do say so myself.
We do, and I feel like I don't want to actually start out with Absolute Batman.
No, I think that's probably going to be
that's the main course.
Yeah, that's the main course, exactly.
That's the main course. How about something before we dive into the books themselves? What foil variants did you pick up?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So I did make it to the all right. Well, I have some foils on pre-order and some physically that I picked up from the shop. I got both of the Absolute Batman foils. So the standard well, I can show that one because I have yours.
Perfect. Even better. Welcome everybody that's joined us in the chat so far. I see Corey. I see Timon. I see Matt. I see Dozer. Appreciate you guys.
Always a pleasure to have each and every one of you. Yeah, so this one is it's on its way, but this one is your copy.
Excellent. It
actually looks pretty cool.
In foil.
In Virgin too.
Yeah.
I think the trade dress on the standard one is a little too much, but I think this works. So I picked up that. I got the Jim Lee foil variant, which I got lucky enough because I got it on Things from Another World, but I don't even know how many copies each shop got. I think they only got like 2. So
when I got to my shop around 4 o'clock or so, there was not one Jim Lee variant left in general. Like nothing. No foil, no standard.
No standard, just all gone.
I was just like, wow. There wasn't even a huge stack of the basic cover A left either. It was maybe a stack this big, and then next to it there were like 2 or 3 of a couple of the other cover variants, which I don't recall who the artists were.
They're boring.
Okay, I was like, I'm not gonna spend an extra $1 on this for that, like just for the cardstock cover.
Yeah, one of them is like here I know one of them that I was looking at is like really just kind of lame. Like it's the like partially yellow one where he's like jumping down. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna pull it up for everybody. Previews world show, or he's not jumping. Well, there's the jumping down one, but that's a second printing. But this one, get over here, go to browser. Oh, I'm not on the right window. You can all see my Twitter. Yay! This one.
Yeah, my shop didn't have that one.
This Wes Craig one, it's fine. I don't really like it.
Yeah. If they had that one, I probably would have still just grabbed the basic one that I did. I don't remember like I said, I don't remember the artists that did the other covers that they did have. I just didn't care enough to look.
Yeah, it's
it was like a dark blue and a purple cover.
Yeah, there's the purple one from. I have no idea.
That's the
one? I think that's Mitch Gerard. Because there's
that is one of them. And I was like, that's cool. Okay. I just didn't care enough.
No, I totally get that. Especially because you weren't particularly hot on the idea of Absolute anyway, like when we were going into this.
Yeah, I picked up issue number 1 because I wanted to give it a fair shake and give it the once over and be like, okay, so let's see how it reads and all that.
And luckily, you'll find out what we thought about it a little later on. But
so stick around.
I also wanted to show this, just because I had it up right before, or I found it while we were in the intro. Where's that window? Ooh, new Lego set. This is a new Lego set, and I'm like, okay, do I have to spend $1 billion now?
Oh wow, look at that!
Right, they got
Sentinel and everything.
Sentinels, Wolverine's bike. All the main X-Men except for Nightcrawler, he's not around. They got Bishop for some reason.
It's disrespectful not to have my boy.
It kind of is. They've got Bishop with the dark blue and purple like effects going, but they couldn't give us Nightcrawler. I genuinely, yeah.
0 out of 10.
Subhuman is here saying it's Jim Lee. What do you expect? That's true. But I also would expect shops to order more of Jim Lee, like knowing it's coming in.
Because that variant wasn't, to my knowledge, like a ratio variant, right?
No, it's just a standard variant, just regular variant cover. But yeah, like I don't get it because people are gonna want that one more than anything. So why wouldn't you just?
I did.
Everybody I've seen online is either picked up Jim Lee or picked up regular and Jim Lee or picked up regular, couldn't find Jim Lee. It's Jim Lee. The second you see his name is on something, I run out and I'm like, I'm probably grabbing that variant cover, even if I don't necessarily like the book.
Evidently, he and Jeff Lubb are gonna be doing a Batman run.
I don't believe that. I also don't believe Jim Lee would come back for Jeff Loeb. Like I just. So yeah. In case you guys didn't know, the current rumor out of Bleeding Cool's Rich Johnston is that Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are working on a Batman comic sometime, and it's set to come out sometime next year.
Next year, yeah.
The only reason, like Jeff Loeb, I mean, he's got the Long Halloween sequel going right now, but is that?
Which I have not read.
I haven't started it either. I'll probably wait till it's finished. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Long Halloween didn't need a sequel. I feel like it was already a good story, so I kind of don't even know why we're here.
It feels like one of those sequels that's just trying to capitalize off of the popularity of the name, right? So Long Halloween is one of those kind of must-read Batman stories, right? Same with like Dark Knight Returns and, Year One and stuff like that. And so it feels like they're trying to just kind of rustle up people with the nostalgia on that. Like, hey, remember Long Halloween? Well, we're doing a Long Halloween too. Cool. Don't care. Like, I read it once. That's good enough for me. Good story. I don't dig Tim Sale's art. I'm sorry. It's not for me.
It's not for me.
Can't do it.
I like that story. But here's the thing to me. Like, I think that story is great. It's one of the better detective Batman stories where he's not, Bat God. He's actually doing detective work. Mm-hmm. And I can see why it's influential and I can see why it's so popular. My problem is he's going ahead with the sequel, but like Tim Sale's been dead for a while. And this isn't like we had this in the works. We were mulling it around for years. Now I'm going to finish it. It's like, I have a new idea for a Long Halloween story. And okay, that's okay, great. You don't need to greenlight that. It just feels super weird. And then you get all these artists on it that are trying to replicate, like they're replicating Tim Sale's style in their style. And it's weird. I forget what artist we were looking. Oh, I think it's like Jimenez or somebody, or Mora was trying to, like, they have an issue of it. And it looked like Tim Sale, but it was that Uncanny Valley sort of feeling where it's like, it's Tim Sale, but it's
copycat artist.
Yeah. Because it had too much of their own personality. So it's just, I'm weird on that. The thing that was going to get me to pick up that first issue is it has a foil variant by Jim Lee. So I was like, oh, fine, I'll find it. But luckily I haven't seen it like in any store. I think that one's probably a ratio variant, but crazy.
Okay.
Jonas, you can't, what's up, Jonas? And you can't super chat because we are not monetized yet.
We're not monetized yet.
I'm not monetized over here. I'm not monetized over at Kabuto Studios. So someday we'll hit, what is it, like 1,000 followers, I think?
1,000 subs, and then I forget what they changed the watch hours to, but we haven't quite blown up in the same way that y'all have over on WDW.
Yes,
WDW Pro.
and Park Place and all that stuff. Like
all of that,
you guys grow like 10,000 subscribers a day. We are cool with like 3 people a week. Because again, we are comic books, not entertainment. This is stuff nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah, this is a little more niche. So it's just the way of things. But appreciate you popping in, Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas, always a pleasure to see you. I'm glad. Again, I know we've talked about it earlier on that gameplays yesterday, but I'm glad I was able to alert you to the fact that the Iron Spider was back in the shop because everybody should have that skin in Fortnite. But
great skin.
Okay, so you. Oh yeah, we were talking foil variants. Like we're not even through this. Then I got this. We both got the Green Lantern Corps special, which I love this cover. Like it's spot foiled, it's spot foiled. It's only the back. All the lanterns are standard. Looks fantastic. I don't know what the hell is happening in this book.
Dude, I was so lost reading that book. I was like, so the art's solid. I don't understand what's happening though, because I haven't been consistently reading Green Lantern since Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns back in like
that's like 3 crises ago. That's like 3 crises ago.
And it's funny because it kind of feels like the Green Lantern book is still doing what Green Lantern books tend to do, which is kind of do their own thing, exclusive from, and separate from the rest of DC's current continuity, whatever that ends up looking like at the given time. And I find that kind of funny, but unfortunately, whatever has gone on to put the green that it currently is in, I missed it. I missed that train, and I had no clue what the heck I was reading. The story itself was like, well, this is kind of interesting, but I just don't know what's happening. I don't know why we're here or where we're going.
This opening page to me was this opening moment was so confusing right here, where you get Yellow Lantern.
What the hell is Kilowog doing as a Yellow Lantern?
Well, I'm like, what the hell is Kilowog doing as a Yellow Lantern? Why is his emblem the Green Lantern one? Yeah. Why isn't it the Sinestro one? I was so confused. Even by the end of this issue, I still couldn't tell you. I don't know what this Dark Star ring is. I don't know who this redheaded kid is that's hanging out with the Corps.
Yeah, that looks like Gen Z Guy Gardner.
Yeah, I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, I obviously know who this is because it's the Green Lantern Amazo from Absolute Power that got a conscience and I guess now is working with them, which I don't know. I wouldn't trust anything from Amanda Waller. I don't care if you're a real boy now. Like you, especially
Sorry,
not
Pinocchio,
in charge of
we're tossing you in the fire.
They have to. They put him in charge of the power battery. Like that's what it just says right here. Join us from the central power battery. The Guardians left on Earth, and it's like, what? Okay, sure. And then like Guy Gardner, I guess, has like a fake ring, which isn't real, but then he gets a real one. Alan Scott, I guess, has like 9,000 new powers, which fine, but they see. Yeah. They said go read Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, for that story. I'm not reading that book.
No, sorry, Tim Sheridan.
Sorry, Tim Sheridan. Like
you're not getting a dime out of me, so that will not increase the number of readers beyond 12. Sorry.
It's such a bad book. The writing is bad, but then also like okay, when I'm saying this, it's over the top. But like the fact that it's like a gay romance book is way too over the top, way too cartoonish, way too just like literally all the stuff we would make fun of. Like say like if they were like new Star Wars thing and all of us would make the same jokes, right? Like, this character is going to be gay. They're going to go to the cantina instead of a drink. They're going to try and, get lit. All of those kind of jokes
all those things actually happen
in the most like stupid ways possible, and they try to be like, oh, this is super deep, and I'm like, it's not. It's really just boring. It's bad. The coolest thing it does is introduce a Red Lantern variant to Alan, like the same fire type thing. Like it's not a Green Lantern, but it's the Starheart and stuff. But at this point, it's like you're making a Red Lantern for the Green Lantern who's not really a Green Lantern, so the Red Lantern's not really a Red Lantern. Then why are they a Red Lantern? Like I don't get it. It's just like weird branding.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, exactly, Timon. When even I can't find an excuse to like it, then it's bad. Yeah, that book is not worth picking up. So It's cool to see Alan with all these new powers, though. Like, he was, like, going crazy.
He was going freaking Ascended Saiyan on these guys. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Alan Scott being a badass, but I don't understand any of why.
I think it's interesting, too, that these bad guys, whoever they are, like, recognize the Starheart, and they're like, oh, we should take that. Like, we need that. Look at how legendary it is. And I'm like, oh, finally somebody's going to talk about that. Like, why they're even related. They just
And then they don't.
And then they don't. So I'm guessing that's the setup for what comes next. But I was like, come on. We did get Larfleeze, which is always... I just like him. He's such a simple character that he's always sort of fun.
Yeah.
There are times... And there were times, especially around the era we were reading last with the Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Around then, I felt like... Yeah, I felt like they were getting to the point where they were Flanderizing Larfleeze, where he wasn't like scary, I'm going to get anything I want no matter the cost type of thing, but more just like, haha, he funny. Look, he greedy. And that was all his joke. And I'm like, he was scary. Do you guys remember him being scary?
Kind of freaky, man.
Like, he was really scary at first, and now he was a joke. So this made me happy seeing that he might be scary again. I really hope he gets scary again. Might be cool. You sent that GIF earlier, and now I want to put the graphic on the like that green spin background.
That's exactly what should happen.
It's going to happen now. Then we get the reveal that Mogo is a Red Lantern and he's crashing in. Genuinely no idea what's going on here. In service of this, Andrew, I was like, I don't know if you guys heard, if this was like, we were talking about this during the intro, or if you heard it in our cold open, but last night I was like, oh, I'm bored. What do I read? I'll read something. I almost read Lady Mechanica because I know you read it, but then I was like, you know what? It's late. I don't have time to get into like a new series. So I went and I tried to read, or I started this volume of Green Lantern. I don't even know. It's still confusing.
You still don't know what's going on.
I'm reading issue number 1, and they're talking about all these things like, oh, I haven't seen you since the Dark Crisis. And I'm like, okay, cool. This is an easy jump-in point. I read Dark Crisis. I should know where I'm picking up here.
I'm sorry.
There's not. There's like 1,000,004,000 things, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I just got to the point where, like, I guess the emotional spectrum is all broken, and like Sinestro's a Red Lantern now. I mean, we obviously know that from the cover because
they kind of gave it away there.
Yeah, it's on there, but
though he doesn't make an appearance in the book.
No, not even that was what made me completely baffled, because I'm like, Sinestro's on the cover. He's the main combatant, and he's nowhere. He's just nowhere here. So,
which was a bit odd. And I guess one of these guys has like some sort of power to futz with the emotional spectrum within other lanterns. That's my guess as to why Kilowog was channeling yellow power
with a green
still
suit.
Had his green green symbol.
Yeah,
green
no, they do explain that. That is exactly how they explain it. It's this guy. They say he he can do something to the emotional spectrum and like force you to have an emotion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like they did explain. They did explain it. I was just like the second I opened that book and I got Kilowog in a yellow suit that's green, I was like, all right, you better explain something, because I have no idea what we're doing here.
And they kind of sort of halfway did. At best.
I mean, he disappears after that. He's like, oh, I'm Kilowog, I'm here to fight. And then just gone.
That's it.
Like,
no,
and then
he just
John's in the hospital.
Blitzes John Stewart and then bamfs. That's
it. I learned from reading going back, I guess Kilowog dies in this run. So this is supposed to be like he's back? How is he back? Sort of moment, which I guess might have hit more if you and I had been reading. But yeah, we didn't, so it did not.
Sorry, DC, hadn't been giving us enough of a reason to be grabbing.
This is on you guys. This is on you guys, all right? Like, you didn't give us anything to read, so we didn't pick anything back up. To that end, though, actually, hold on. Before I tell you this next DC bit, Timon says it's the Lantern's ring, the equivalent. Is the Lantern's ring the equivalent to Marvel symbiotes? That's actually At this point, I would probably say yes.
Depends on how many. I haven't been reading DC recently enough to be able to really make that judgment. It does feel like just about everybody has a symbiote right now, which is kind of an exaggeration, but also kind of not.
Kind of
As
not.
far as significant characters who have one.
Well, like if you're looking at like the overall Marvel universe, like the 616, it's a very small fraction of people with symbiotes, and all the hosts are rather insignificant or mostly insignificant, like except for maybe like Eddie and Null, but I think Null's dead right now. But then more to the point, like it becomes more significant when you realize like anybody who's ever known Peter Parker, they have symbiotes. Yeah. Every Peter Parker person, like Liz, Flash, MJ technically right now, she's inside of the arachnia.
Yeah. And the event getting at least having one for a page or two.
Of something. I am guessing that's what's going to happen in the next issue. That's
kind of my thoughts.
Because remember, she's in the arachnia. She's got to come out. She's going to have it for like a page or two. Timon asks, why is he purple? Just bad coloring. There's nothing else past that. And then Zero asks, isn't yellow the ring of fear? Yeah, that's what Andrew and I were saying, is that normally, so what Kilowog's wearing right here is his Green Lantern uniform, ring and all, and that's what confused me and Andrew, because, if you have the yellow ring on, you should have the Sinestro Corps attire. So
what it is he's not actually wearing a yellow ring. He's wearing his green ring, and it's this other villain guy, like forget his name because he was fairly insignificant.
He's really insignificant.
He can futz with the emotional spectrum and force you into a specific spot of that spectrum, which is an interesting concept, but we just don't get much with it.
Well, I mean, we literally get nothing with it, because this is where it ends. We see, like, Yellow Kilowog, which is like, whoa, that's crazy. And then he dies.
The Dark Star ring,
and then he's gone. But then the guy who set that villain, the purple dude, he dies. Or, like, he gets arrested. He's done. His threat is over. So, cool seeing one person altered by this, right? Like, when you have all of these characters who you could have swapped into different emotions and played with it that way. Like, what's his name? Like, you remember the red ball guy who's a Red Lantern?
Yeah.
He's just a ball. He's like the angriest one. What happens if you shift him into like a Blue Lantern? How does his mind deal with that? Like, in my mind, I should be angry, but I don't feel that.
Even more funny would be shifting him into like the Star Sapphires.
Everybody should be shifted into a Star Sapphire.
All of a sudden, he's all about love.
Now I want like the DC Valentine special where that's the like main plot device, is he's Cupid now because he got his Amaronian ring. I would oh my god, I want that so bad.
That's a day one buy for
I'm getting all the covers for it. But pretty solid issue. But what I was gonna say is that on that note of Green Lantern, going back and reading that, I read or I've started the current Flash run, the C. Spurrier one that you and I have like been getting the issues of and not reading just because why would we? Because it's DC.
So you grabbed it from Dawn of DC issue 1, like is what you mean?
Yeah. Well, yes, because that's where I left off. I read all the last run, like 1 Minute War, and then
because Cy Spurrier was still writing prior to that as well.
Was he? I just know he's on that run. Because I knew Jeremy Adams was on Flash before.
He started out, he was on it.
Because he has that really great issue where, like, Dr. Fate, like, turns to the reader, and he's like, we need your help to get, like, Wally out of the Speed Force. I loved that. And I was like...
And where it has the Spectre telling Wally, God is pleased with you.
Yes.
And Wally's like, Which was kind of a fun and cool
It's back here somewhere. It's in the background somewhere.
It's kind of a fun callback to like how Wally actually kind of is, because people don't remember that there's an old 80s.
Are you talking about the Titans comic?
The Titans comic.
Yep.
That it's got Wally actually. And it's like he talks about like, and it's only very brief, where he just mentions
Super
that
one.
he's a conservative.
Because it's like I think it's like Donna or Tim is saying something because like they're liberal and they're saying something or whatever, and like it's like, oh, we shouldn't help them or whatever, and Wally's like, hey, I'm a Midwest conservative, but we're still friends, we can still get along, we're still teammates, this isn't like right. And it's just like that teenage lesson that everybody reads, or like
that
gets.
reminder, like, hey, we can still get along and still like each other type of a thing. Yeah, despite having differing opinions.
And I've sort of always liked the aspect of Wally and Barry, or just, like Wally and Barry specifically, believing in the Christian God, which is established to exist in DC. Because it's sort of, to me, it's very, what's the word? Not humbling, but like...
It's grounding and,
and
kind of, there's another word I'm looking for, and
I
it's
know,
on the tip
there's
of my
a specific
tongue.
word.
But it does make them relatable in a very wide way, and especially considering like they are in a pocket of the DC universe that isn't as like densely populated, right? Sure, you've got Keystone and Central City, sure, but they're small compared to like your
Metropolis or Gotham or even Coast City.
I was taking the words right out of my mouth. Get out of my head. But yeah, to that point, like it was okay. So yeah, they're from Midwest. You're looking, close to like your Bible Belt and things like that. And it's one of those instances where it makes sense, right? In the same way that Clark Kent was raised by the Kents, who were Bible Belt people, right? And so that's something that you don't have to actually talk about it all the time or almost at all, but what you can do is you can allow that to inform how the character acts,
right?
And it does. If you can look across any of the good runs with these characters, that there is consistency where you can see, even if they're not directly referencing or talking about that, you can see it play out in their characters, and that's cool. That's good writing, and that actually diversifies your universe, because then you have characters like Oliver Queen, completely different end of the spectrum, right?
But like that, and that's 100% it. That's what I was sort of getting at. One of the things I really like about them being believers in God is like they are the Flashes. They are essentially the strongest force, like maybe under the Spectre, at times over the Spectre of the DC universe. I mean, they don't use it because they use it heroically, but like we know.
Right. Like
the Speed
if they
Force
actually
unlimited
ever
potential.
went like full on lethal, like I'm sorry, you're not stopping them.
No, yeah, there is no stopping a flat. Like that's why, honestly, when Batman went Red Death in Death Metal, I was like, how is this even a fight anymore? Like the second you put a Flash on your team, and especially one who doesn't have any qualms about anything, the fight should be done. We should be completely over here. Like, do you remember? It's one of my favorite Flash scenes. It's from Kingdom Come, when the Spectre and the pastor are like watching the Justice League meeting, and the Flash grabs him out of like extra dimensional spirit realm because he's vibrating through every plane of reality at one time, and that's how he finds them. Like, I love that, and that's just like upper echelon Flash.
That's basically God tier. Flash is what that was, what Kingdom Come Flash is.
But more to the point, the reason I bring it up is it is a good run. It is all the characters are written very, very well, very, very accurately. There's drama, but it's natural drama, right? There's no Pauls. There's no Superior wiped my mind. Now I'm a photographer. Peter Parker bullshit again. It's real, and it's like almost heartbreaking in how real it is, like with his family and just all the ways. Because like Wally, he is a good person. Like he wants to be a good dad. He wants to be the hero, but he never lets it get to his head. So in those moments when it does get to his head, it's like, what happens to that? Like, how do you get there? So it's been a really good run so far. I'm only like 5 or 6 issues into it, but so far so good. Not excited for the fact that we're eventually going to get that new suit in like 2 weeks.
Or no, that's next week, isn't it?
Is it
or
next
is it
week?
2 weeks?
I know it's soon. That's all I know is that it's soon, and it's unfortunate that it's soon.
Issue 14 cardstock variant. I have this pre-ordered the 23rd. Okay,
Oh,
so
that's the Dyke Ruin one, right? That awesome Dyke Ruin one where
Dude,
he's
that cover.
like, skidding.
I will forever be angry that that's not a spot foil.
I don't know why they didn't do it. It's like it lends itself to it. That is what you should be doing.
Honestly, that probably just speaks to the fact that the book probably isn't selling too great, and so they don't want to invest.
Which is kind of crazy because, like, it's Flash. You would think that they would at least bank on that, right? Like this is one of our big guys. Like, we gotta, and they don't.
Yeah. No, they're too busy putting foil variants on Tom King and American books.
Oh my God! Stop with the Tom King. I wanted to point this page out to you though because I thought it was funny. Oh, I gotta close out Civil Core. Hopefully, so there's this page in one of the flashes where he and Linda come across. Oh, here I need the other page thing. They come across this site of London being completely overrun by these weird bug creatures. And so they like stop for a minute, and this British guy is like, "Look, it's the bloody Flash," and he's like, "Yeah, it's all under control." And he's like, "And he got rid of that crappy nose mask. Loving the classic look, mate." And that's because over here Barry shows up. So it's like, and I just thought that's funny because we always talk about the nose guard. No, stop zooming in.
Yeah, I've never been hot on the nose guard.
I have been. I like the nose guard for some reason.
I'm glad that they brightened the colors on the suit for that run, at least, because I didn't like when they used like that super dark red.
The Rebirth Crimson.
Rebirth. Yeah, I was like, I don't like that at all. I was not a fan of that super. It was almost a maroon. It was super. Like,
it was almost the color of that Flash suit you don't like, but I kind of like the '90s one with the silver bolt, like from the shoulder. And like that dark red one.
Yeah, Dark Wally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who it is. It's Dark Wally. It was more like that. So I wasn't jazzed on that. I think I like the nose guard because to me, bear with me here. This is going to take. Just follow me. So to me, it's like you got Barry. That's classic, right? That's a 70s, 80s, 60s sort of like old school Americana when we're finally coming to the world stage. And then you have Wally, who is the next generation America, right? Like when we started developing a lot more computers and technology and, streamlining things. So to me, I see Barry as like that classic, that's the Flash, but then Wally with that nose guard, it's like, that feels more aerodynamic to me. So it feels more like that's the right update they were trying to make. Not that the old model is bad, but like, how do you improve it? Oh, you can just give it that sleek aerodynamicism. You're not changing the big body of it or like the logos. It's still pretty much there. It's just slightly upgraded because we understand more about physics now. So like that is what it echoes to me, sort of like the generational thing. So I think that's kind of why I like it.
Fair enough.
And yeah, at least we got one other nose guard. We got Timon. Did they haven't done a nose guard suit in live action, have they? Like I know none of Ezra's are, but no, they did. Wait a minute, I know.
Oh wait, no, wasn't John Shipley's?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I was about to pull up. That's exactly what I was about to pull up.
Yeah, I remember
so I can show everybody. Which is weird because he's playing Barry. Like, he's not Wally. He's Barry, but they gave him the 90s Wally suit. But yeah, I guess he did have the nose guard. I think in live action, the nose guard doesn't work as well. I think
or at
you
the very
gotta go
least
normal
it didn't
face.
that time.
Yeah, at the very least it didn't that time. If you do it now with like the way they did the nose guard on Wolverine's mask in Deadpool and Wolverine, I think it would look great. I just love that scene when he pulls on the freaking mask and it like shows him putting it on instead of like cutting away, which is what like a lot of movies do to like cover up the fact that it's not a real mask. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of that moment. So yeah, that's all I wanted to point out. The Flash run so far good. Not a lot of Wallace, a lot of Wally, and a lot of good Linda stuff. So once you finally get to it, it is a enjoyable read.
I've got a lot of catching up to do. I've got all of the trades released. thus far, right below me, and then I have all of the current like Dawn of DC to present run, which is 13 issues so far. So
Yeah.
So everything released in the last year and change.
But
and I'll get to them eventually.
yeah.
There's a specific reason why I haven't been catching up on those, and I'll actually inform you of that after the show.
Yeah, no worries. Whoever doesn't read them, you don't read them for whatever reason. I'm just saying, whenever you get to it, it's a good read. It's actually a pretty solid read, which is surprising considering what we always talk about, which is like most DC has been terrible lately.
Pretty bad, yeah. Well, I mean, Jeremy Adams and Cy Spurrier are both solid writers. So
yeah, no, they're solid. I think I like Adams a little more than Spurrier, but yeah, no, they're both pretty solid talents. I'm not unhappy to see that either of them on a book. So yeah, good Flash stuff in here when you finally get to it.
Yeah.
Attack of the
I'll
Archangels.
show off my foil variant of the week before we move on to some. I'm thinking probably some
X-Men, maybe some
X-Men
Venom.
talk.
Yeah,
probably some X-Men talk, and that'll be fun. So I did not pick up a foil variant at my shop this week because the only one that was there was Action Comics 1070, and while I initially while I initially was walking up to the counter with that, I flipped to the back and saw Mariko Tamaki's name on the credits, and I was like, nope, that's going back on the shelf.
Yeah,
I didn't get the Batman one last week, so I don't feel bad about about missing a part of the set.
Yeah, no, she's doing the backup story, which does suck. Do not get me wrong. Like, I read the issue, the Mark Waid story, very solid. Enjoyed that a lot. The Mariko Tamaki, I was like, this is so bad. And then I got like 2 pages into that story, and I'm like, this is bad. Who's writing it? And I saw it, and I just immediately was like, all right, book's done for the week.
Well, don't need to finish that.
Yeah,
but
and then
hold
on. Let me just clarify to everybody in the chat. The only reason I have this, guys, is because
grabbed the Batman one last week.
Yep, exactly. So last week,
I understand needing to complete a set.
Yeah, last week Andrew asked me to grab him the all-in variant or the like standard all-in variant, the white cover one by Jimenez for Batman. I went to the shop, my mind like blanked. I did this weird circuit that I told Andrew about already, and I ended up grabbing the foil cover for this, and he was like, "No, that's not the one." I'm like, "Oh, I'll hold on to it." And so I'm like, if I got Batman, I might as well get Superman. I'm not going to get Wonder Woman. No way in hell am I getting the Wonder Woman one. Like, yeah, that is just not happening. There's no way I could bring myself to do that.
Nah, that's like playing with some real messed up stuff that you shouldn't in a horror movie.
Right. It's like when they go into the basement in Evil Dead and they start playing with the tape recorder and that brings it to life.
let's just do stupid white people in horror movie stuff, right? Like,
have you seen that there's that like Geico commercial about horror movies? Have you seen that one? Oh, it's so good where it's like a crowd of kids that are like running and they're like, "Oh my god, we're being chased. What should we do?" It's like, "Well, we could make it to the car that's fully gassed up and ready to go." No, we got to go hide behind that wall of rusty chainsaws. Okay, great. I'm going to bring like this this bag of like highly flammable hay with me or whatever. And then you see them like behind these chainsaws and the killer is just standing there like, "What?" And then it's the tagline is something like, when you're in a horror movie, you make bad decisions. When you're shopping for car insurance, you make good decisions. And I was like, that's pretty funny. I enjoy that.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, so Flash. Yes. What else you got? You're talking.
My foil variant is this arrived from the J. Scott Campbell store.
Oh man, the milk spot. I forgot that the milk was like normal.
Yeah, you got
dude, that
Felicia
signature
taking a milk bath.
Dude, he like signs it right. Like so many artists do like the tiny one, but he like
he's like, I don't want there to be any question that this is a signature series copy. So I also like what
do they come with certificates?
Every single one of his signed books come with certificates, and
that's awesome.
So this one also came in. I accidentally ordered 2 of these. I've got another one coming with my X-Men number 5 Emma Frost variant.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't think I got this yet. Apparently, I'd ordered it like 2 weeks prior. Oh well.
We all do that.
So and this one was from like a few years ago. So they used to do the certificates like this.
That's nice.
But I like what he does now better because they're the full size.
Oh, that's way better. I really like
way
that.
Way better, and they got the low opacity image of what the cover is in the background. Like that's super clean. That's really clean. I love that they do that. So yeah, great foil variant here. It's not technically a new release book, but it's a new release variant.
It's a new variant, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm happy to add that to my Campbell collection, my ever-growing and will continue to grow Campbell collection so long as he does ones that I want.
So someday I want to do like I'll help you commission like a custom like display wall, because I just want to see all your covers like in a row, just like all your Campbells right there, because I know you have so many, and most of them are like insanely
a nice
beautiful. Yeah,
I've got a nice stack of them. One of these days I'll show them off on stream.
What is how? I've been meaning to ask. When you go on his wait list, how often do you get like chosen to buy that product? Is it like a lottery? Like, do you have good luck? Do you have bad luck with that?
I have never not gotten an email that I can recall, or I've never gotten an email and not been able to buy.
That's pretty impressive.
But I'm on their, they call it the VIP list. It's literally just signing up for the newsletter is all it is. So I'm on that, and like anytime he does a new Campbell Store exclusive, he'll shoot out emails with an email blast, and I always get the emails. And a lot of times it's like, oh, I'm not interested in that one, yada yada, and that's fine. Or he's advertising maybe a partnership with one of the various statue production studios out there to do some stuff, like some of his fairy tale fantasies stuff that he's done, or anything like that, and that's all cool. And if I had more money, I'd probably have a lot of his statues, especially the Spider-Man and MJ ones that he's done.
Yeah,
because those look beautiful.
Those are the classics.
Absolutely. But every now and then he'll do a variant cover for a Marvel or DC book, and it's like, yep, I need that, and that's how I have like the Ultimate Spider-Man #1 signed version that he did. I also have the Ultimate Spider-Man issues that he like did throwback versions of, or callback versions of
his
some
old
of his most classic
covers. Yeah,
and like those are super cool, and I'm super glad to have those. Those I did luck out, because those sold out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was
ordered mine like right away, and I knew people that like immediately after I had placed my order, which was in like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
People were telling me that they couldn't like get them. Like they were messaging me like that. They went that fast, and like that's the power of his covers when he's doing something that's Spider-Man related, and especially because they were callbacks to like some of his most famous Spider-Man covers.
Classics.
Yeah, like there was no reality, no alternate Earth where those were not going to sell out.
I mean, I think like when I went through my whole fiasco to try and get us those Witchblade covers at Comic-Con, I think one of those covers was the only thing they had left in stock, and it was like the unsigned one, so it was just like basically just buying a normal issue, like not even signed or anything. Like that's why I was wondering, because I know he's so popular that these things probably just fly.
Yep. Yes, they do. And that cover looks amazing. I plan on getting so I have the Witchblade cover in a top loader right now, but my LCS has these, you've probably seen them. They're from Ultra Pro. They're not, I have that one actually.
Who are they? I was going to ask, like, okay, they're just random
I think they're
ladies.
just random chicks that Worldwide Spidey was having hang on their arms.
Yeah. Because I saw that right now, and I'm like, who?
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover, so I got it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's great.
But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so Ultra Pro has these things. They're not like the slabs that CGC uses, but they're somewhat similar in that you can open them yourself.
Ones, right? They're kind of like
I think they're screws.
Or they. Okay, yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
I think they're folding is what they are. And so I saw those over at my shop this week, and I was like, ooh, I'm not going to spend $25 on one of those yet. But I think in a week or two, I'll grab one at least for that. But I also have the Amazing Spider-Man issue, the Amazing Spider-Man issue with the MJ cover. You know the one I'm talking about, where she's sitting on the couch.
The classic one.
I have that signed by him, and so
do you have like the first print run of that, like the actual issue of that? and not like a special like a facsimile or something?
I don't actually remember. I don't believe it's a facsimile.
I don't think it's a facsimile. I don't think they did. I'm curious.
I just have to sort out which one of these dang boxes I have that in. I think it's this one. Oh my god.
Here you go, guys. This is the official foil variant J. Scott Campbell mascot.
Then it's that one. Okay.
We got our Ben front and center.
And yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is the one. Okay.
There, like this, J. Scott just has like the best variants.
Grab these. That's what we're doing.
Like any of these ones where it's like Peter and MJ hanging out and they're just
That's a good looking one.
cute. Like I love all
your
of his
boy.
MJ ones. That's what I was telling everybody. I'm like, this is the official like we're gonna hang this up in the studio. Like this is the like sign.
That's what it is. That is what it is. Okay, so let's see here. I have my stack signed books here. I've got a couple of signed copies of Danger Girl. I've got his he did a Battle Chasers number 10
Battle
variant.
Chasers.
Let's see. I had to get this. This was a few years back. This all
all four of the
Carol's
Captain
suits,
Marvels. Yeah.
Which like I wasn't reading the book at the time and had no
Nobody
interest in it,
is.
but I saw that cover and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Well, you've
here.
got the black and gold, and you've got the binaries too. Like I love
Yeah.
her binary look. I think it's one of the coolest things to ever come out of comics. They don't ever use it.
So no, I think this is the original one,
That's
the
awesome.
direct edition. So
Mark Waid wrote that issue?
he
Look at that.
He did. So yeah, I've got that signed.
That's so cool.
I don't have a COA with it, but this was signed like at a convention.
Yeah.
So I want to frame that one for sure.
You should have told me last week because when my LCS was having the sale, all their supplies were like 20% off. So I could have snagged it right there. So I'll just keep an eye out and see if they ever they have sales a lot like that, like the clearing out inventory sales, Black Friday stuff. So
you must have a fairly large shop.
At
least that's the impression I get.
Yes and no. Here, I can pull up pictures of the inside because they have a Facebook page, and you can let me like I guess it actually is probably fairly large now that I'm thinking about it. Where's a good?
My shop's pretty big too. They have a huge section in the back for like D&D and card games and stuff like that too.
They've got mine has sections like that. Okay, here's like a general shot of the shop. So this is from like the back of my shop. So like it's pretty decently
I
big,
see a Sonic book.
Oh yeah, they've got that's like the kids section right there. So you get all the Sonic IDWs, the Teen Titans Goes, all the big old long boxes. Against all the walls are the like new releases, relatively new releases. So
yeah,
it's big. It's not like a mall store, but I guess it's pretty sizable.
Right on.
We have a question from Timon. Well, you already answered the second one. Yeah, no web pits for either of us. We're both not big fans of that. But who do you think is a worse writer? And this isn't from Timon. This is Subhuman. Who do you think is a worse writer, Tom King or Tom Taylor? It's hard.
Tom Taylor has some decent books under his belt, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Like he wrote most of Injustice, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And that I was about to bring that up. I love that first Injustice, or like the first 2 volumes of that Injustice comic.
Yeah.
It goes on way too. At one point, they start fighting like the Greek gods, like Zeus and all them, and I'm like, they're not exciting
they were just
in
trying
DC.
To stretch it out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like the Greek gods in
DC
DC aren't exciting. They're nothing. Like I don't care about them.
Yeah, they're not particularly important at all. Or at least they haven't been made to be. That's for sure.
Only except for what's his name, Apollo. He's the only one because he's the god of war.
Yeah, basically. Or no, that's no, that's Ares.
Oh yeah, Ares. Yeah,
Um,
I'm dumb.
no, you're good. There are too many of them. But yeah, to that point, so he at least has Injustice under his belt. Tom King, at least in terms of his mainstream big two comics, he has we'll be super generous and say like 40 and change good Batman issues under his belt, and then nothing but trash afterwards. And then he has he did Miracle Man or Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, or Mr. Miracle, Human Target, Supergirl. All these series that I'm listing off are terrible.
Woman of Tomorrow is not Supergirl.
It's terrible.
So I'm gonna give that one to King as being the worst writer in terms of comic book characters.
I think I would agree, because here's how I read Taylor and King. Taylor he's the sort of he's like a writer for people who are fans of being fans of things, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go read his Titans run or his Nightwing series, you can tell he's writing this for people who are fans of being fans of Nightwing, the people who love making profile pictures or like animated gift sets and stuff. Like that's the people he writes for. Sometimes that can result in some good stuff. Like that Injustice book isn't the early stuff is fun. There is a bit in the new Nightwing series where like Nightwing is incapacitated, so Bruce puts on the Nightwing suit and like patrols for a night. It's funny to see him in the suit. That was like a nice little like, look at that. Bruce is huge and Dick's tiny. Funny. So he has like moments, but for the most part, it's very much like writing for that internet fandom crowd. And
rather than writing for people that actually really know these characters.
Or even really writing to tell a genuine story. It's more like, what are they going to eat up, rather than like, what can I do with this character almost. And conversely, Tom King, he writes in a way that he thinks he's so damn smart. He thinks
he's Alan Moore.
Yeah, he thinks he's Alan Moore. He thinks everything he's doing is breaking and shifting the paradigms of comic books, subverting your expectations of what a superhero should be. So I give it to Tom King, absolutely, and I think that's why. Because at least like Tom Taylor, that's sort of inoffensive. Like, okay, you're writing for the Nightwing fan, like fans of fans of Nightwing. He's also had some
genuinely stupid books, but yeah.
Who, Taylor or King?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Taylor has had really bad books. Like,
yeah.
Do not get me. Most of the stuff he writes these days, like his Titans run is bad. His Nightwing stuff is mostly bad, except for like that one moment I was talking about. He's not great, but at the very least, I don't think Taylor goes out thinking, I'm the next best thing. What I'm about to drop is going to change the world. I think he might not know who he's writing to. Like, he might not know that that's his fan base, but he writes to his fan base, and I can't really be mad at that. Like, it's not for me, and I can't. But it's like, okay, at least you're trying to do something for fans. King is just like, I'm gonna ruin everything because this is so interesting. I'm the best. I am a real writer. And then
I'm gonna deconstruct literally everything I touch.
And it's all the same.
You're not deconstructing, Tom King. You're disintegrating.
Yeah, like you said, Taylor's a one-trick pony, but King, it's the same thing. It's take your favorite hero, reveal how sad and truly depressed they are, and then show them losing their morals. And use that to drive home this point of, look, aren't we all human? And it's just like, this is so stupid. This is dumb. We got through this, like, aren't we all human thing back in like the Green Lantern days when we were fighting alongside aliens and everybody went, are we all not breathing, living sentience or what? What is it? Yeah. Optimus Prime. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. We've been here, Tom. You're not discovering any Americas. Nothing is happening here. Get over yourself.
Yep, 100%.
Subhuman says, I want to go to that shop. Timon says, visiting a comic book store in the U.S. on my bucket list. I want to buy the Spider-Man book from March 85. Come on over. I live in Arizona, over by Phoenix. If you guys ever find yourself in the area, Subhuman, I will take you to the shop. I would be happy to. Yeah, see, Tom Taylor turned Tim Drake gay. That's what I mean, right? Like, he writes to that crowd. He writes to the Tumblr fan of being a fan crowd.
Exactly. You can look at all the stuff that he did with John Kent. So.
Well, oh, that was him. Oh, funny enough, I meant to bring this up. Oh, I guess this is the right show to bring it up because the sale at my LCS was just this last weekend. For some reason, I thought it was 2 weeks ago.
Tom Taylor turns everybody gay. Tom King turns everybody into a murderer.
There you go. Easiest way to delineate them.
There's the delineation.
When,
we did it, guys.
When I was going through all these long boxes right here, the issue where John comes out as gay, like the whatever, I don't even know, the Son of Kal-El series, where they did like all the covers for it, right? With like all those ones with that stupid J kid. The boxes were filled with them. Like nobody wanted them. Exactly. And then to drive that point further, like even further, I told you this last Saturday, Andrew, but those Pride specials that DC like puts out every year, those don't sell. Like those don't sell like at full price to like normal comic book readers.
Yeah, they do like 6 to 10 variants of each of those,
and they don't sell. They don't move. Like there were literal 2 long boxes filled with them, and what I saw was people would come and they would buy it on sale. Like those books don't appeal to comic book readers. Non-comic book readers will read them, but they won't go for it. Like they won't go out of their way for it or to pay full price for it. Like, so to that point, a lot of those copies were being moved during the sale last Saturday, where it was like 50% off everything. So people were buying those.
For $2 instead of
so
$4.
Everybody was in for that. These Superman books still weren't moving. Nobody cared about gay John Kent.
People were more interested. The frickin' Tumblr and Twitter and Reddit people were more interested in buying the frickin' DC Pride specials than they were gay Superboy. That's
exactly
hysterical.
That's I was laughing so hard, and I was just like, who do I report this to? And I was like, I guess I'll just save it for the show.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Zero's right. Taylor turned everyone gay. Oh, yeah, Zero. I first heard of Tom King because he tried to cancel Jay Lee because he drew a cover for EBS. Yeah, that was a whole dumb escapade from like years ago. That was super stupid.
Yeah, it was like 2019. I want to say 2018.
We've only gotten 800 subscribers since you were here, Jonas. So we're cranking.
Thank you for all the subs, Jonas. You brought them all in.
we'll see you in like an hour for another 200.
Deep, yeah, it was that deep.
I love that tenor
that brought it in.
It's my canon voice for Obi-Wan now because that's just like because I see Jonas's avatar all the time. I just hear Jonas's voice.
Yeah.
As if leather jacket, single earring Superboy wasn't the first gay Superman. See, they're just retreading ground. DC isn't doing anything
Even though
new.
he wasn't.
He's the most like man or like girl crazy super person of all time. Like I love that original book where he's hitting on like everybody so funny.
You know what? Oh, that's hysterical. Do I even have that book with me here? I don't think I do in this stack because this is mostly my Campbell stuff. But I have, so even though the run, I didn't finish the run because it was just that bad because screw Brian Michael Bendis. But when he did the Young Justice run back in 2018, 2019, there was that cover of the meme where it's, you know, the
girlfriend,
it had him on Connor on the front like this with the shades and everything. I was like, okay, that's awesome. And so I got that.
I know you have that one, yeah.
I actually got Bendis to sign that because he did a signing at my LCS in Vancouver at the time.
I mean, you should just use that for credit card fraud. Just you have his signature now.
I'll give him this much credit.
Oh, that's right. This was Jimenez. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I had to get that cover. It's a beautiful cover. And I've always loved Connor, but I'll give him this much credit. He can suck as a writer a lot of times, but he's at least a nice dude in person.
Oh, Bendis?
Yeah,
I can believe that.
He was genuinely nice to the people who was chatting. He wasn't just like rushing people through. He was actually
Like,
spending
oh,
a
hi,
good deal of time with
yeah.
them. Like I spent a good, I don't know, 5, 7, even 8 minutes maybe chatting with them about, because the Young Justice run had literally just started. I think it was only 2 issues in at the time, so I didn't know yet how bad it was.
Hope was there, yeah.
Because all I knew at the time was like, oh, we got Bart back.
We got Bart
right?
back.
We got Bart and we've got Connor. Okay, like I'm excited because I love these characters. These were a huge part of my growing up. I still need to grab the because they wound up collecting that run in trade format or omnibus format, really, a few years back, and I think I still need to get volumes 4 and 5. But those characters were super important to me, and so I was trying to pick his brain. I'm like,
like, what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah, well, like you brought back this character that he's been completely removed from DC continuity for several years now. Like, what were you doing to try and get into a headspace to make him work? And he was, I think, pretty genuine in talking with me about like how he was trying to bring Bart and what people knew about Bart into the modern day, at least in terms of like the things that we have with like technology, how he interacts with things that we have now. And he was a nice enough guy, but in terms of how he writes, well, I don't need to go any further on that.
I mean, Subhumans got it. BMB was a good writer back then. Now he's just falling apart. I
wouldn't even say then because, well, okay, so there was some cliff point, right, where like he wrote a mid, like a fine, that Man of Steel mini that he did was fine, and then he did like a couple of decent issues on Superman. Again, nothing spectacular. It was just fine.
It was fine.
And his first couple, I'll give him like the first 2, maybe 3 issues of Young Justice were fine. And then something happened.
But I mean, that's because the first 2 issues were just like, we're just introducing everybody. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, hey, Bart's here. Oh hey, Ginny Hex, you're kind of cool. I liked Jenny. I thought she was cool.
Exactly.
But then like to me, the Bendis problem is he was. I always say, like, back in the day, New Avengers, Ultimate Spider-Man. I know Andrew's not the biggest Ultimate Spider-Man fan, but aside from whatever he did with Spidey, he has always been like a solid ground level writer. Like, if you give him a street level hero, you're probably going to get something out of it. Like his Daredevil run with Alex Maleev is still probably one of the best Daredevil runs.
And he had a good run on Avengers.
Yeah, like, so he knows how to write, but the problem is his style is very much the he wants to make it feel like you are on the street, like it is organic, so it's very conversational. So you'll see pages where it's like Wolverine and Spider-Man like hanging out, and Wolverine's like, "Did you go get food?" "Yep." "Where?" "Pizza place." "Pizza place?" "Pizza place." "Which pizza place?" "That place down the corner." "Down the corner? The one we said we would try?" Yeah, the one down the corner. And then it's like, what are we like? That's what he
read that like 16 times from him.
Right, like that's what he. Like, that's the style he goes for, but that example I just give is what he does now. He just goes way, way, way over the top with it, and it feels like he's trying to go, look how relatable they are. They talk just like you, where back in the day it was sort of just...
kids.
That's exactly what it is. Where back in the day it was sort of just like, oh yeah, look, Spidey's a regular guy. They've got lives. They're just interacting. They're hanging out. And yeah, now it's just like, we're trying too hard. Jonas says, isn't it funny how the Council of Superfans sounds a lot like a creative committee? Brian Michael Bendis comes to mind. Have you heard about this thing, Andrew, about the Council of Superfans that studios are going to start assembling?
I feel like I read this in a tweet at some point this week. Refresh my memory, where they're like going to create some sort of like, I guess for lack of a better term, focus group, where it's like people who are purportedly mega fans of X IP.
Yep.
And they're going to use them as kind of like consulting. Is that
kind of like a early focus group? So they'll go to them and be like, what if we make this change? How are people going to react? How would the fandom react or whatever? That's the goal. We don't know right now how it's going to work. We don't know if it's, because your suspicion is right. Are the super fans, are they people like us who have been in the sphere and know the source material and have loved it and enjoyed it for years? Or are they the people Tom Taylor writes to? The completely online, I only care about what this does for my fan fiction, my headcanon type people. Because if it's the former, we might see an uptick in like adaptation quality. Like people will start looking like their characters, acting like their characters. If it's the latter, buckle up for 9 more seasons of Agatha. Like that's where we're headed at this point.
Shoot me, please. Right between the eyes.
Thanos got pizza at Joe's, okay? The only pizza place in New York. I guess that Sabrina Carpenter girl, the musician, she was shooting a music video at Joe's Pizza in New York, and I saw a tweet of it, and all the replies were like, come on, Parker, we're going late. And I was just like, that's right. Joe's Pizza should always be remembered for Spider-Man.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah, Subhuman says, I have that entire run of Daredevil by Bendis. I don't know if I have all of it. I think I'm missing like the first 5 issues. But yeah, I love that run, Subhuman. It is good on the ground. That's where he excels, right? Like the on the ground inter-conflict of the streets. Once you start giving him like multiversal crap to work with, like cosmic stuff, he sort of really falls off super hard because that's just out of his wheelhouse. Like when he wrote Guardians, he wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a really, really bad run. That was the run where Kitty joined. Remember? Like Kitty Pryde joined the Guardians. And there's that really awful scene where Star-Lord is like under attack and Kitty's like, how do I save him? I need to cause a distraction. So what does Bendis write? He writes that she hollow projects herself into the enemy ship where Star-Lord is and like distracts them by like dressing up in a banana costume, doing the like peanut butter jelly dance, and then singing the ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. And I was just like, this is so embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah. Like, do you remember the movies? Do you remember Hooked on a Feeling?
And I'm just like, the movie was good. This is not.
And I was just like, Bendis, this is so hot garbage. Like, this is so bad.
Oh, that's painful. That's really painful.
All right. So we got our foil covers. What do you want to dive into next? What issue should we look at?
Let's talk about Exceptional X-Men.
Let's talk about Exceptional X-Men #2. All right. I know this was your favorite book of the week, so why don't you walk us through it? Or walk us through your thoughts, your highlights.
Highlights. Well, the highlight is really like just the last freaking page.
Not even kidding, guys.
Because that is not hyperbole. Y'all know we are not about the sensationalism and whatnot here. I am being quite literal about this. This is the most frustrating thing for me because this was the book I was genuinely wanting to
He was really, yeah.
Because it was kind of marketed where Emma as well as Kitty were going to be at the forefront. And collectively, between the first 2 issues that we have had no more than like 2 pages with Emma Frost on them. Okay? I am not an anti-Kitty Pryde person. I have a lot of friends that love her, a lot of friends that she's like, that's their ex-waifu, right? Or the terminology I like using, ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
Because I
get it,
I'm clever.
Like ex.
Exactly. See, I'm somewhat smart sometimes and clever. But yeah, to that point, I just have never been a giant fan of Kitty. She's just fine to me. I don't dislike her, but she's like, okay, you're not going to sell me. If this book did not have Emma in it at all, I'd have dropped it already. If this series wasn't even pitched and marketed as having Emma in it, I wouldn't have bothered picking it up to begin with. I would have waited for Mav's review of it on either his Friday show, which you guys should check out, or here. And so, like, the only reason why I'm getting this book is because it has Emma in it. Or it was supposed to have Emma in it. And so far, we just have, like, 2 pages worth between the 2 books.
And this is the only place she is right now. Like, she's not on any other team. This is the only place you can find Emma Frost is in this book.
Yeah, we have no idea what's been going on with Emma since the fall of Krakoa. And so I'm just like, okay, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing with this character? All they've been doing and this is so incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Because evidently Kitty is gay or bi now or something like that. I don't know when that happened.
Well, it happened last. Well, it's this run. This is where it's. Remember last issue where she was talking about like, oh, I got stood up by it for a date. It's very quick, but she's like, maybe I can reschedule with her.
Right,
yeah, it's the same girl.
Yeah, I noticed that in that first issue.
In that first one,
but
yeah.
that's literally the first. Like they didn't. That
no,
didn't start the
yeah,
Kryptonian
no,
era or anything.
That is right there. You saw that right there. Good night, everybody.
So now I'm even more annoyed about that, but I'll set that aside because that's not the focus of the show. That's annoying and dumb and entirely unnecessary. I personally still like. I will not use the word ship, but I like her with Colossus. That's what.
Yeah, that's Endgame. That to me is Endgame.
That's where we should be headed. That's where we should be going. What we should be doing.
In the movies, she goes with Iceman. All right. In the movies, she goes with Iceman.
Yeah. Ironic. What happened to
I know, yeah.
one of those characters and one of the actors. So apart from that, the writing is just, it's not that it's bad, it's just boring. It doesn't feel like a superhero book at all. It's literally been 2 books of Kitty either playing babysitter for some new teenage mutant that she comes across and meets or gets thrust into their lives with, or vice versa, they get thrust into her life, or she's just trying to get a date with some chick.
Yeah.
That's all the books have been thus far. And so I don't really have that much to say about this book beyond that, because it's basically just that. She's trying to get a date. She winds up on this first date with this chick. She goes to her like cousins or something like that soccer game. And at said soccer game, there's a mutant getting picked on by some jerk-offs because we're leaning super hard into the mutant oppression angle again, which, yeah,
if you guys have watched this show, we are not it's the most boring thing you can do at this point.
It's so played out, and so the 2 books that they're leaning into that the most heavily so far is Exceptional X-Men and X Factor. Like, those have been heavy focuses narratively for both of those books. And it's so dumb because it's hard to find it believable. Like, we talked about this last week when we were going through Storm #1, where they at least like tried to explain why there's suddenly this like anti-mutant heavy push again, right? But even then, it's still not good enough. Like, I can appreciate the effort being put there because people will get caught up in feels over one incident very quickly, but usually that will peter out. That will burn out people. They'll reorient themselves, right? And
we even got that guy in what issue was it that I really liked last? Oh, remember in Storm where the guy was like, yeah, mutants or whatever, but once you realize like there's aliens, the guy like next door who has laser eyes, he seems like he's on your side. Like they're even trying to show that like sentiment has changed in the Marvel U.
Exactly. But we got to lean into that here apparently. And so I kind of felt bad for this dude because he kind of felt like an introvert, which I can totally relate to. That's a whole mood. Like he's just there like to try and be supportive of his friend who's on the soccer team and part of the game and who's also a mutant. And, you know, he's just there, like, listening to music and watching the game. And these dudes are just being jerk-offs to him for no reason. Like,
just, like, picking on him,
I get it, buddy. Like, I'm not here for the whole mutant oppression angle rehash. But, like, I do feel you. Like,
well, like, that's what I was going to say, actually, is, like, because you brought up X Factor. I was going to say, like, I agree with, like, you know me. I'm right there with you. I'm tired of this mutant oppression angle. But looking at what we were like what we have, like the cards we've been dealt, I would argue that Exceptional handles the issue better because like this was what I was going to say is like this book to me feels like it's very much written for that same crowd we were talking about with Tom Taylor. Like this is the Tumblr crowd where it's, you know, everything is nice. Let's talk about us going on dates and working at the coffee shop. Like, oh my gosh, I can't pay rent. Like that very boring stuff is what really sets off the Tumblr crowd, right? Because here's a hint, they all don't really have the best of lives, so they can live vicariously through people who have it together. So I like the writing in this entire scene, I think it's pretty good. This is like, it felt natural. There was no like, it didn't feel like they were trying to bring in any real world, like one-to-one analogy into this. So it felt really natural.
That's the least annoying thing about this book. for me.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
The most annoying thing is like this super hard push with Kitty in terms of like her trying to go on this gay date.
Right. I know.
and,
Yeah.
Like that being the whole freaking focus of the book. Like I could. The whole babysitting the mutant thing, I can get down with that
yeah.
to a degree. But the problem is
That's not the focus of the book.
They're sprinkling that in amidst this other stuff, and it's stuff that I don't care. Like, I'm sorry, maybe people who are massive Kitty Pryde fans would be more interested in that. I doubt it. But you're making this book that's really just her trying to like live a normal life, and I'm sorry, that's not why I'm reading an X-Men book.
It's also,
especially if you're going to call it, like, if you want to give her a solo mini and
give her,
do
like,
that,
Pride.
knock
There you
yourself
go.
out. Right? Oh wow, yeah, they'd really.
Right?
Don't,
I know.
don't
Look
give
at
them
that.
ideas.
I got it right there.
They would lean so hard into that, man.
Got it right there. Next
oh
June,
my
2025.
gosh.
I'm calling it right now. Pride one shot.
Gave him the
Pryde.
You gave him the ideas. But this is a book that's supposed to have Emma Frost in it. This is a book that's this is exceptional X-Men. There's nothing exceptional about this book other than how exceptionally annoying the plot is.
It's supposed to be introducing all these new mutants, and we get them, but then they sort of fade really quick into the background. Like, the most interesting thing in this book for me, except for that, or this issue for me, except for the Emma reveal, was this bit right here.
You might talk about, you're going to pull up exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. Yeah, where she,
she's
walks through the
teaching
beam.
her how to properly phase through this.
Yeah, like, I thought this
cool.
was super interesting. And then after that, it just goes back to, oh, look, she's on a date again, or she's worried about her date. I don't know. Like, this is also, I don't know. This is just the level of soap opera drama. Or it's not even soap opera drama, because that's what the X-Men is. This is more just like, I don't know, diary drama, if that makes any sense. Like, it's very personal drama, which, like, hey, heart goes out to you when you're going through all your stuff, but everybody's personal journey is a personal thing. It's not necessarily...
Do that in somebody's personal solo series.
Yeah, this is...
Like, I don't need that in Exceptional X-Men.
So yeah, this book is just dragging... It's dragging. We're
really
not...
dragging. If isn't it freaking... It's, e-viewing, right? Is, the one
yes, it's e-viewing,
this?
yeah.
Yeah, so the wrong Ewing.
No, yeah, I was gonna say no relation to our boy.
no relation to our boy that's knocking out of the park over
Venom War.
Oh man, freaking so good. But we'll get there. But if this first arc, like this first whatever 5 or 6 issue arc, does not pull itself together with this third issue, I might be like, yeah, I'm not even gonna finish the arc. I'm just like. I'm glad I got the really nice variant covers for the first issue.
For the first ones, yeah. The foil one with Emma.
And the Joelle Jones variant.
Oh, yeah, and the Joelle Jones. That one's really pretty.
It's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. But, like, I'm super not invested. And they're going to have to really turn this around with far more focus on Emma and Kitty, like, trying to back and forth train these new young mutants and whatever that conflict looks like, because you know that Emma Frost, even though she's a good guy now, she still has very different ideals and methods from somebody like Xavier or Kitty or Cyclops, whoever, literally everybody.
Literally,
so
yeah.
That could be an interesting premise. I'm here for it. Just do it.
Just do something with it. Yeah, like if the next issue isn't one of those issues that like opens with a flashback to like what Emma's been doing this, you know what I'm talking about? They always have those issues where like it ends like, Batman, where have you been? And then the next issue starts with like, 7 months earlier, and it shows you what they were up to. That's what I need for this next book.
I kind of feel like issue 3 needs to be like 90% that.
Yeah.
And then we get like a flashback moment where it's a different perspective of her in whatever mansion she was in the first issue in that last page. And then we come to either where we ended at this issue or shortly thereafter.
Right.
And then we move on. Because I need a palate cleanser from this like slice of life Kitty Pryde
which
crap.
is exactly what Subhuman said. Yeah, it's more slice of life than anything, which is like here's the big thing, which is slice of life stories I'm not against. I have some that I really like. But the problem is right, exactly. And thank you for bringing that up, because that's what I was going to say too. It works better in manga simply because of economics, guys, right? Like if I'm buying a slice of life story is going to be a little slower. You're going to have less drastic events. It's going to just be more about like hanging out with the characters, maybe laughing
slow burn can work better when the book is like this, not when you read it in 10-15 minutes.
Well,
and you have to wait a month in between.
And also when it costs $10 to get that thick of a volume as opposed to $5 for just this issue. I don't when I'm reading comic books, you need to give me something that's worth that $5. Hanging out with people isn't it. Right? Like this is the same sort of thing we went through with Dazzler, which is like cool premise, but you got to give us something. This isn't a book. This, like I said, that was more of like an anthology series, a story in an anthology book. So yeah, I did kind of like how the pink haired girl, she's like always texting Kitty, like trying to be her friend.
Yeah.
And she's kind of
that was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's
because we all know a person like that, right? We all know people like that. And so like that's something that's relatable, but the issue is, again, I'll keep going back to this, they just made the whole damn book about Kitty trying to get a freaking date, and I do not care.
I
don't. Like, you couldn't make that interesting to me, I don't think, even if it was her trying to like get back with Colossus or something, because that shouldn't be the focus of your book. Not if it's Exceptional X-Men. Again, you want to do a 3 or 5 issue mini of Kitty Pryde?
I mean,
and do that?
Isn't that essentially what Mr. and Mrs. X was? The Rogue and Gambit series?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got their own
and that
mini
was
for
actually kind of fun.
I know you liked it.
Yeah, that was actually all right. That was fine. That was fun. But don't make a mainline X-Men book like that. That's a poor choice right now, especially in this climate where people are already the pool of comic book buyers is shrinking. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by taking what could be a fantastic book and
dragging it down.
Doing this.
It's sort of like
you're dragging it down unnecessarily.
Publishers, look at what I said like a little bit ago about that sale, right? Like the Pride books do not move normally. Those are things that go on sale and people will buy them on sale. So more to that point is that if they won't turn out for one issue of that, they're not going to turn out for 5 issues of a slice of life we're trying to get together story, right? Like it's not the same thing. It is so disconnected is pretty much the best term I have for it.
Yeah, Subhuman made a great comment here. This is more of an Archie book than anything.
Oh, except like right this is Archie books, like an Archie slice of life story lasts for like 4 pages, and it has like a humorous bent to it. This here is just nothing.
It's just boring.
We don't have anything yet. Like it's really, really just nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Subhuman also said, I was hoping the X-Men books would finally move away from the anti-mutant stuff, but they keep going back. Yes, that is like has been mine and Andrew, like our complaint here ever since they relaunched. It's just we're done. Like we've seen this. We've been here. And
the books that aren't really leaning into it are any of the Wolverine solo series. Uncanny X-Men isn't really.
No, they're not doing
it. That's kind of the
I know,
only
right?
one.
Yeah, because that's Gail
right.
Simone.
I would expect if any of them were, it would be Gail's book, but it's not. Somehow hers is the best of the 3 mainline books.
The best one, yeah.
And not even by a small margin either, by like a wide margin. So far, waiting for that shoe to drop, staying hopeful until it does.
I know, until it does. Until it does. We're so far so good.
It's like every single month when it drops, like, okay.
Yeah, we both do. We're like, every time an Uncanny is dropped, we've both been like, dude, Uncanny. Yeah, I'm surprised too. It's still going. It's still good.
Like she decided to write 3 good books in a row. Can she do a 4th? We'll see.
We'll see. She's getting
isn't doing it.
No,
because Phoenix she's off doing her own thing.
Yeah, she's in space.
So, yeah.
But yeah,
I don't have much else to say about this book other than
I don't really either.
And the most interesting page was the final one with Emma on it.
Right here, yeah.
She has them all in a freaking psytrance.
Which is like, okay, cool. What are we doing here? Something's happening. But I also think this book suffers from the fact that like the comic book curse where they don't let anybody grow up, because I feel like we've done this with Kitty before. Not necessarily like a lesbian romance, but like the teen trying to find a lover romance. We've been here. This is not new by any stretch.
Decade, I think they did that, and with the exception, no, it was prior to the Krakoan era, I believe.
I thought wasn't the Colossus Kitty? Wasn't that because I remember the wedding special was pretty recent where they don't get married. Maybe that was right before Krakoa. Who knows? It's recent. Yeah.
I think that was right before Krakoa. Same with when
I can like see it in my head.
I think Aurora tracks her down and gets her to rejoin, type of a thing, where it's like Kitty's one of those characters that they keep going back to the well for like, oh, well, she left, so now we got to get her to come back and rejoin. It's like, how many times are you going to do that? At what point does Kitty just say, no, I'm fed up? At what point do the rest of the team say, we're not interested, fuck, screw her?
I mean, there's also the point where, at the end of Krakoa, not just there, like that's why I stuttered for a second, because it's not just Krakoa, it happens everywhere when Kitty leaves and comes back. But it's like the last arc, right before she leaves, she's always like hyper dedicated to the X-Men's cause. Like she's like, I am a mutant, I am an X-Men, I will fight for the dream. I mean, Krakoa, she went full killer. She was just killing people left and right because she was like, we need to fight for mutants. So it's really hard for me to believe somebody with that drive and passion would try to fool themselves like this into like trying to live a normal life. And I also think
like a forced 180.
Yeah, it does feel like a forced 180, especially because like as readers, we know that this isn't going to last. We know that whatever slice happy coffee shop life she has, she's going to be back in the X-Men at some point. There will be a crossover. The Sentinels book just brought back Onslaught, so she's probably got to show up and deal with that. So it's what we talk about all the time, where you can write characters in different ways doing different things, but it has to be believable for them in the way they do it. And nothing here feels believable about Kitty. It just feels like they cast a new actor in a different series, like in a sitcom or something. So this book, we'll see. We'll see. Right now,
so far.
Right now, it's probably this and Dazzler are easily the weakest. I would almost say this one's a little weaker because it's dragged us for 2 issues, and Dazzler's only 1 so far, which is I admit the difference, but I'm not
even with Dazzler. Even though I think the book itself was, they're equally bad for me, but this one's more offensive just because Dazzler's is, to your point, it was 1 issue so far, and they've done it with 2 issues here. But more importantly, I think
more to the point
is that's a solo book. It's not
so you're
like
allowed to have that.
Yeah, it's not like a mainline X-Men book. If you're calling this the X-Men,
they headlined it in that 3-parter image, right? The one
with
Stegman, and then Uncanny over there, and then them on the right side, and they've so far turned out to be the worst one, which is also like, it's a waste. This is the only book that's dealing with like new mutants they can bring into the fold. So there should be something here, but they're just, they'd rather focus on Kitty having a date, and it's bad.
Yeah, it's super lame. You have Exceptional X-Men being crap, X-Men being mid.
Very mid.
It's like, so far. Like, it's had a couple of really good moments, and then just a bunch of meh.
It's had moments, and I think the main thing keeping me around on that book is the team makeup. Like, I love Magic. I like Juggernaut.
And they have a fun dynamic.
Right, exactly. So I'm like, okay, I'll follow your adventures, even if they're not good. I mean, we did get that tease of Magic and like Colossus doing the chess thing, which we don't know about, that did pique my interest. But yeah, for the most part, X-Men is just sort of like,
And then you have Uncanny just way up here, freaking knocking it out of the park right now.
Which just blows it out of the park in literally every aspect. That issue, actually, Uncanny 1, all of those are sold out at my shop. Like, there is not even a variant covers, which is just...
Yeah, there aren't any Uncanny ones at my shop either.
Which is crazy. Like, you rarely see that, especially for a book from Gale.
I honestly hope it gets a second printing with some cool variants. I will grab them.
I probably would too. The
Like,
variants
give
for the
me a
first
cool-
issue were kind of boring. Like there was like the
They-
Marquez one that was like just everybody's hands. And then there was like
Yeah.
the Lionel Francis Yu one that was everybody like rushing as a team, which normally you would think Spencer, Lionel Francis Yu, he's in on that, but it's so not dynamic. I don't know. It was just boring. They were all lame.
Yeah, give me some cool variants for a second printing. I'll grab them. That is a book I will grab the variants for.
Do foil ones. They do that sometimes. You know, we'll automatically grab any and all of those.
Pretty
Make
much.
it
Especially
a
if it's a
design
good
variant.
book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
especially
Especially
since
if
it's
it's
a
a
good
book like this. I want all of these like I want good copies of that book.
Yeah, stop giving cool foil variants to crappy books. Give them to the good ones, please.
Please,
'Cause
please,
I'm
for the
not
love of
putting
God.
a Mariko Tamaki or a Tom King book in my home. It's not happening, guys. I don't care if it's an Artgerm cover. I'm not doing it.
No, absolutely no. They will not trick us like that. No Tom
Yeah.
King. Mariko barely got in. She got in on a technicality. We're reviewing the standards over here to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk to standards and practices after the show.
which is
We-
basically
we'll speak with our ethics committee.
which is just Andrew going, "Why did you do that? You made me look like a
It's
fool.
basically that.
You made me
It's
look like a
basically
fool
that.
on our anti-Tamaki bent." All right.
Basically that.
Exceptional
Moving
done.
on. What
This
book
book's
do you wanna talk about?
whatever. Let's see.
'Cause
What
this one
book?
sucked.
I feel like aside from our main course, the main things I want to hit are just sort of bite-sized. They're not full things
wrong with that.
to like break into. So I guess we'll start on, since we're here on the topic of X-Men, we'll start with Venom War Wolverine, which
Okay.
super if you guys remember, this was an issue that we both liked when it dropped. It was I think we actually talked about it on episode 0 of this show.
Yeah,
but
I think that was on the pilot.
yeah, still a very, very solid book. Or let me rephrase that. The writing in this book remains absolutely
Very
top
strong.
tier. This is
Yeah,
a
very
crazy
strong writing.
good book. They're like this kid and his father's relationship, where the father is sort of like a local crime boss, if you will, and he like kills people and all that stuff. Like seeing how he abused his son into following his footsteps and stuff. Like it's a really interesting dynamic, especially because they don't do the thing where it's like, oh, look at how poor the dad is. Like, woe is
Yeah.
him, right? Like this guy just sucks. This guy's just a bad guy. So you get
He's
you
just the jackass.
so you get a lot of good personal level things, like Logan talking with the kid's mom and, you know, walking him through everything, trying to let him know, like, you don't have to follow in your dad's footsteps. So there's a lot of good personal stuff here. The art remains off. I know you're way more of or I know you dislike it a lot more than me, and that's because I only give it a lot of leeway because I think the monster designs that he does, Kev Walker,
He does
are
really good with the monsters. for
yeah,
sure.
the
I'll give him
monsters,
that.
like I love his symbiotes, like down there. We have this one webbing up the mom. Like his symbiotes look great. His people, not so much. Right? Like I can't even really describe what's wrong with it or like what I don't like about it. It's just like everybody
I think
is like
you
really
actually
like flat.
hit it. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when we were chatting before the show,
Mhm.
where you said it feels like he hit everybody with an ugly stick.
He does. Like this shot right here of the mom like smiling at him is the most like pretty a character looks in this entire book. And
Yeah.
to that point, so this book's good. You see more of that dad from the last issue, the bad guy. He comes to take revenge on Wolverine now that he can control the zombiettes because of his broken hearing aid. It's giving off a very low like buzz hum that, you know, messes with their sonic weakness and it makes them follow him. I thought that was actually pretty interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need a deep dive into how that works. I was just like, that's a good explanation. I don't need the whole rigmarole, but I liked that. Then as we get on, we get more of the zombies. He's like, oh, we're going to come get you. Boom! This was like one of the best moments of the book. Oh, I need to switch to the other window where we get the uncanny team, like the actual team that Logan's on actually shows up to say, or like to rescue him, help him out, to take out all the zombiettes. So you get Rogue, you get Jubilee and Nightcrawler and Gambit. And I'm not even going to lie. I thought this was one of those moments where it actually, like, it got me. Like, their intent worked. I was reading this page and I was like, oh, dang, like, look at all these symbiotes. He's probably going to be infected now. And then next issue, the mom and kid are going to have to deal with zombie Wolverine. And then you get that little sound effect down on the bottom and then this awesome splash page. Like, I was just like, oh, I literally let out like a hell yeah. Like, they're here. Like, this is good comics right here. But then to that point, like, yeah, like, he's not, like, here's Rogue, who should be a bombshell, but she just looks sort of frumpy. And this isn't like this isn't him trying to make her frumpy like a lot of the artists. This is just his style.
Yeah, his style just does not work with beautiful women. Yeah,
because Kev Walker's been in the industry for a long time. He was on The Authority. You guys might remember him from that. That's where he got his like big break. But yeah, his women just don't work. So, and even like something feels crunchy about her hair here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel.
It looks like they used, I don't know, about 8 pounds worth of aerosol hairspray.
Yeah. On it. Like, it looks, it's not great. So, art issues aside, I just wanted to bring this up because I think that this is still consistently one of the better books that's being written, one of the better Venom War tie-ins so far. And I do like this sense of continuity where Logan brought in the team instead of like, we all know you're on the Uncanny team. Where are they? And making up some dumb excuse like that. So that's all I have to say about this. You got anything to add?
No, like you basically said what we had already talked about before the stream, which is like really strong writing. Neither of us are particularly hot on the art. Me even more so. And yeah, I got excited when I saw the Uncanny team pop in. I was like, oh snap! It's
right?
Kurt!
Like, they're here!
And it's funny because I didn't even put it together when he was like putting his hand to his belt that he was actually like putting out a signal. For
that's
them.
What he's doing? Oh, you're
That's
right.
what
That is what he's doing.
And I didn't even think about it. I don't know why I didn't even think about it. I just flew right over that panel. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, he was calling the team. That's why they're there.
You know what I thought this was? I thought this was him like, oh, I took out that one symbiote. Oh, it's coming back together. Well, you know, like, pull up my pants. I got to go to work. Like, that's what
the belt.
Yeah, like, son of a bitch. Like, all right. Like, that's what I thought he was doing. I didn't even notice the sound effect, the tack. So, dang. Okay, yeah, I like it even more now. I just sort of assumed he did. I was just like, at some point, he called them. Like, I don't know when. I was willing to let it go, but now I like it even more.
Yeah, I was here for it. Narratively, like, yeah, the writing was really good in this. It's been a strong tie-in for sure.
Yeah, who's even writing this? Let's check. It's Tim Seeley. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks. They're hit or miss. I feel like sometimes Seeley's really good.
Had some decent stuff, and he
misses. Yeah. So good effort. Yeah, Venom War Wolverine. If you guys are following Venom War, this is a good series to check out. If you pick it up, if you catch up with Venom War later, don't skip out on this one because we don't know if this will have any relevance to anything else, but this is still just right now a solid story.
Yeah.
All right, that's that one. Let's hit. I'm not really. I was gonna hit Venom. Actually, here I'll talk about the one thing I want to talk about.
Probably do a rapid fire on Venom because there isn't a lot to talk about, but there's a couple of interesting things.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting things. So this issue, we are obviously in the midst of Venom War. Dylan is still in the past, trying to find a secret weapon that will help him.
Dylan.
Yeah, hold on to that because I actually like how that comes. I actually like how that comes about.
It was deliberate.
Yeah. So yeah, he's traveling the past, right now. He's like in the underworld, trying to find something that will help him stop the. I guess he's seen a future, right, where like Venom takes over everything, or no, his dad is like. Eddie goes nuts and becomes the King in Black and takes over the universe. So he's looking for a weapon that will put a stop to that or prevent that. So he meets Chthon, which is pretty interesting because like we just never see him at all. Chthon puts him through this sort of test where these aliens attack, and he has to choose, like, would you kill your mom to put this like a stop to all of this now? And he's like, I won't kill. Like, I would if that would do anything. And then Chthon's like, well, it won't. So, but it's good to know your resolve. And so then he makes him do this like test. Like, do you save yourself against, like, he sees these two kids running from the aliens? You know, do you save yourself or do you save them? He saves them, and that sort of begets us to the next. Like, that was him passing the test. Like, oh, okay, good. That's what we wanted. Now we'll grant you your power, but they give it to him with conditions. And this is probably the part that I thought was the most interesting, because they go, if we're going to give you this weapon, you have to give us something in return. And like, you know, a payment must be made. But instead of the generic things like you must serve us forever, or your life, or your soul,
a loved one, or
right? Instead of like that stuff, the girls pick very random things that are still like here's what got me, Andrew, is like the things they pick you can live without, but they're also so personal and deep. But like, it is one of those things that
part of the human experience.
But they are also something you could technically go, like, that was what got me. It wasn't so drastic. It seemed like on the surface, yeah, give that up. But then, yeah, as we learn, it's not great. I'll have your first love and all you know of your mom. I'll have the music you know and your friendships. I'll have your taste. I'll have your dreams at night. Like, that all seems very minuscule in the big picture, but then when we really interrogate what happens, because Dylan accepts, that's when it gets really like, oh, this is heartbreaking. Because Dylan immediately forgets Doctor Strange. Oh, he forgets himself. Like, Doctor Strange is like, Dylan, are you okay? Who is Dylan? And so they just start calling himself Old Man, because that's all anybody can refer to him as. He forgets who Strange even is, because they were friends. He doesn't remember anything. He just like hits rock bottom, and then he gets to this illusion, I guess, as you can see it. He's trekking the wastelands of his world, comes upon this shack, and then it's like a feast is before him, and he starts eating. He realizes he has no taste, and then
like nothing.
Which is like, I don't know why that little detail there, where it's like, oh yeah, you just lost your taste, and now you're eating a meal and you're commenting that you lost it, like, the taste. I don't know why that really like.
A page prior was him also mentioning that it, you know, is like he's in like his 7th day of wandering this Arctic wilderness, right? And so
on the 7th day,
starving, right? He is starving, and when you are starving, when
you will go for anything,
finally hits your tongue, it's like spiritual.
Yeah, it's like manna from heaven.
Yeah, exactly. It is manna from heaven. And he's not going to die of starvation, but he's missing that actual pleasure of tasting food.
So it's like, are you really human? Like, are you alive at this point? No, he's kind of just going through the motions, which is, he does that all in service of the mission, which is like, that is resolve, man. That's not a lot of, I mean, that's why we look up to these heroes, because not a lot of us would like make the same choices. Yeah. But then, I liked this because they share a mind of Venom and Dylan. They realize that they're being manipulated by none other than Loki. So that's how this ends. Don't really have anything to say about that, because who knows what it's even setting up. But I thought it was neat to see him. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it all worked pretty well.
Yeah. No, it was a good issue. I just I'm curious to see where it goes.
The one thing I will speak back against is I hate when they do this shit where, like, so the narrator, right? The old man feels at home. It tastes like nothing, yet he eats. It tingles like a feather brushing over his mind, gently prodding and pushing his thoughts. It finds no name, no friends, only a purpose. Glorious purpose. And then it reveals it's Loki.
Did
and
you
I'm just
guys
like,
watch the MCU?
I'm like, come on, dude. Like, Ewing, you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that. It was so solid already. But yeah, where is that moment that I wanted to? You know what moment I was? It's with old man Dylan, because did I imagine it? I swear there's a point where he's like calling himself old man, and then somebody says Dylan so that it completes the name.
I think that's I think on that first page there where he comes back from Chthon. I think it's on that page, isn't it?
Let's see. No, it's just like he just calls him old man. Where is he? He curses. I can't walk. I'm done. Did I imagine another Venom related thing into existence?
I mean, if you imagined it, I imagined it because I feel like the same thing happened.
What? Yeah. Okay. I think we're both going crazy because like we know this happened and I'm not seeing it anywhere. Like this is where he comes. Do you still want to continue this journey? Who is Dylan, old man? And then, no,
There's no way we both imagined it.
This is. I'm like having. We're having our own Berenstain Bears. It tastes like nothing. Of course, old man, do something. Stop that. I don't like this. What? I only wanted a peek. I am old man. I broke the world. I am old man. Oh, that's what it wasn't Dylan. It's because he's reciting this line to remind himself, right? Okay, I am old man. I am Venom. I broke the world, but I am going to undo it. And that's his mantra that he keeps repeating. But as he gets tired, it eventually breaks down right here to the I am old man Venom. And I was like, I like that. I do like that moment. Like that makes it more natural than just saying like, I'm old man Hawkeye. Remember old man Wolverine? You guys all read that series. But
Did you guys read this book? Yes.
Did you guys watch the MCU? So, still good issue. Obviously, it's tying into all the Venom War stuff. Clearly, more of an expositional issue than a climax issue or anything like that. So, we'll just have to see what keeps going. But I thought it was pretty well written, and I just liked that choice. The what are you going to give up, and then he accepts it. I just thought that was super different as opposed to what you said. Like, give me your loved one or whatever.
Yeah, because that's always the go-to, right?
It's always what they do.
Too easy.
And if they did that, it would just be, if that was what they wanted, nobody in the Marvel offices would be able to resist calling this event Venom One More Day. You know that they wouldn't be. They would not be able to avoid that. They would go whole hog on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Okay, next book that we're quick shotting, Phoenix #4. Not a lot sort of happens. We open with this really dumb, boring girl pep talk moment between Jean and Carol. Let me ask you a question before we dive into this. Do you feel like the art fell off really hard in this issue?
Only on these first couple of pages. I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was the same artist initially.
It is. I went back and I had that same thought, man. I was like, because we in our past Phoenix reviews, you and I have been like, this art is good. Like she really knows motion. She's like, she knows how to do emotion. She's great. And so then I flipped the page and I was like, oh, what is this Jean face here? Like what's happening? Oh, I gotta switch it. That's right. Yeah, where I was just like, what is this Jean face? This is what we're met with.
Super off on these first couple of pages. Like, it got better afterwards, I felt, but the faces on the first couple of pages were super strange to me.
Like, look at this one of Jean and Carol over here, like, where they both look like cancer patients. I don't know what's happening. And you know what?
Carol looks, like, super gaunt in her face.
Yeah. And, like, that's the thing, is it does change, but it changes after this scene. Like, after the Jean Carol stuff is done, that's when it goes back. And I'm wondering, was that a thing? Is that what happened? Like, did they go, oh, crap, we need to rewrite the script. Let's throw it back, throw in this extra scene. Yeah, who is it? It's like Alessandro Miracolo. Like, oh, can you throw in, oh, what did I do? Can you throw in 4 extra pages at the beginning of this book? That's what it feels like, and it feels like they rushed it.
Yeah, it feels like they were like, oh wait, we don't have enough pages for this.
Right.
I need to quickly sort out the what the intro to this is, and it really feels and reads and looks like that's what happened, because it does feel like the art was a little rushed, at least in the faces on that first like 3-4 pages. And then furthermore, it feels like it's kind of inconsequential to the rest of the book.
Yeah. It
was a weird transition from those first few pages to then the rest of the book and being like, what were we doing over there? Like, what was the point of that?
All of this Carol meeting up...
it doesn't feel like anything from the prior issue led into that.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, we could have just gone and started this issue with Jean flying through space. And then she could have gotten the psychic communique from Gore that she gets, and everything is the same. There's nothing... We gain nothing with this interaction. It feels like they went, oh, can we add these pages? And I don't know why they would. My biggest theory right now is just we needed to boost Captain Marvel. Can we get Captain Marvel in here? Like, that's all I can think of, because she's not X-related. She's not, well, I mean, she's kind of X-related, but with Rogue. Like, she has nothing to do with Jean. She has nothing to do with the Phoenix. She's got nothing to do with any of this except for the fact that they are in space. So, yeah, when I opened this book, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was like, what happened to this book? What happened to this book? Like, this was a good book these past weeks. But then, yeah, as soon as... Like, this felt so out of place to me in this book, where she's talking about, oh, I need to learn to control the Phoenix. I need to, go and make a difference. And she instead just hangs out and gives a random light show to these people. I don't know. Like, it's not out of character, I guess, but it's just narratively does not work. I don't know. It's all super weird. But then, we immediately get past that. We get to this awesome galactic council meeting where all of these houses are afraid of Jean, because basically Gladiator's like, you all know what she does. It is a matter of time until the shoe drops. What do we do? And they contemplate sending in their various agents. They've got what's his name here, Pericus. And then while Jean is here on the planet having fun, she gets a psychic communication. And see, like, look, the art immediately jumps back to, like, quality. It's so
the art
bizarre.
Leaps right back up. Hi, Mary.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I was going to... I needed that break for a second. Hi, Mary. I know you're in there. I saw you when you jumped in. I just was giving that spiel. So, hey, Mary. Always awesome to see you. But, the art jumps right back. Like, look at this Jean face here, guys, right? Like, she looks great. You can tell she's sort of got that sly, like, really, you're challenging me? You think you have this? Which is all in her right. She's the Phoenix. But if we go back a couple pages, she tries that similar-ish face is just like Down syndrome-y. Like, it just doesn't work. It's just everything is melting. So maybe someday we'll get an answer. I'm guessing we probably won't. But issue continues. Jean goes to fight Gore. Like, this page is awesome. I was like, there we go.
The fight scene between her and Gore the God Butcher was cool.
It's just so
it looked really
great.
Good.
Yeah. So Phoenix and Gore fight. Phoenix finds herself on the losing end. I wouldn't say she's dead, obviously, because she's Jean, but she gets stabbed through the heart by the All Black, which I like that he unlocked its symbioteness, right? Because, like, did you read the original Gore book, the Thor one?
Nope.
The, like, Jason Aaron, like, Thor or whatever. Basically, All Black was just a sword. Obvious, and you know that from the King in Black stuff. Yeah,
it was
but when Gore had it, he was only using it as a sword. So now I'm glad they remembered, oh yeah, symbiote. Like, let's use it like a symbiote. So he did the, like, let it go into his body from his arm, and then it shoots out of his chest and spears her. And then we get, this reminded me of a Saiyan. Because, like,
that's exactly what I was thinking,
right? Because they go, oh, well, she's dead. What were we afraid about? Like, there's your big bad Phoenix. And then we get, this Phoenix is no stranger to death. And each time they meet, she only comes back stronger. So I was just like, oh, hell yeah. We're going Jean Saiyan.
Jean just got a Zenkai boost. Got it.
Right? Exactly. She's going Ultra Instinct right here. So I just wanted to mainly discuss that weird art bit in that weird story bit, because that took me by so surprised, and I wanted to make sure you at least saw it as well, and I wasn't going crazy.
Nope, you were not going crazy. We both saw the same thing on that.
All right. I don't really have a lot to say about this issue. I'm just gonna hit it because it's in the title. But we did get our 5th issue of Ultimates this week. which mostly focused on the introduction of Ultimate Hawkeye, who is a Native American kid. That's pretty much all we know at this point. The issue, it's really like, it's a good issue. It centers on Cap and Hawkeye having this sort of like ideological, not battle, but sort of discussion in the middle of a fight. And then we learn that at the very end of it, it was all a test by Cap to see if he was actual Ultimates material, because the guy or Clint, like Ultimate Clint, Tony went to give him his stuff and undo the Maker's plan. And we find out that there's a panel of it.
There's a panel of him doing the Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's doing the Spider-Man in the trash. Yeah. Where did it go? There it is. Yeah, up there at the top. I'll just stay in the zoomed one. This one's easier. But yeah, that panel right there, we see that Hawkeye rejected our offer. So this Hawkeye just randomly saw the gear, picked it up, and decided to be Hawkeye. Pretty cool. I just liked it. I don't know. I'm excited to see what Hawkeye does. I like the dynamic. I like the Native American versus U.S. government symbol sort of dynamic. I think that's a good, like I told you earlier, I think that's a good twist on the Clint Cap dynamic, because they've always sort of been butting head, like not enemies but they butt heads. And I think this is an interesting way to do that. And then, yeah, we then get them doing this awesome fight against a bunch of Roxxon drones. And then we just really get the reveal that the Hulk is coming in. So not a lot. I just did want to comment on Ultimate Hawkeye and say, I'm liking it. I'm buying what you're selling, Dennis Camp. Let's see what you do with it.
Yeah. Basically that's the camp I'm in with this. I'm curious to see where it's going. Hulk is clearly going to be a major threat in the coming issues, and I'm curious to see how that pans out, and like how much more powerful is he compared to maybe say She-Hulk, who's on the Avengers. Like how's that gonna bear out? Should be interesting. Might be cool.
Might be cool, everyone. All right, that's pretty much the quick hits that we have for the week. Mostly a good week, with the exception of exceptional. So with that all said, Mary, I will order Andrew to... Yep, it's time to go to Gotham. I will tell Andrew to give you all the cookies you like. And let's talk about the main event of this week. We finally have kicked off the Ultimate Universe. We have our first... Or Ultimate Universe. Absolute Universe. We have our first entry into that universe with Absolute Batman. Now, I'm sure... everybody here probably saw all the pre-release promo marketing material, which is this version of Batman is not the version we know from Earth Zero. Nope. He has no money, or he comes from like no money. His parents were teachers. They weren't, industrialists, doctors and stuff.
Social.
Yeah, and a social. And I don't think they tell her what. I don't think they tell us what she is, but yeah, she's like in that sort of field. So. Yeah, he's got a different upbringing. He is a construction worker instead of a billionaire. He builds all of his tools. Batman always built his tools, but he doesn't have the money now, so they're all very crude and makeshift. And they, so you're pick up off the ground what you can find Batman. So that's sort of the setup for our Bruce. We, I guess I don't even know how to approach this. So. The setting of Absolute is basically the same as our Earth Zero, except for, of course, Darkseid's influence. But Gotham is under the influence of a major crime wave led by Black Mask. He's sending his party animal gangsters to go and just do whatever. Like, there's no rhyme or reason. They're not stealing anything. They're just...
And it's far more brutal and violent than in our main universe, too.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck out to me right away, like, because this is being pitched as kind of a more gritty, brutal Batman, though he still has the no-kill rule.
Which is interesting, I know.
But he's less averse to be cracking ribs and, snapping knees and things like that. And so, yeah, he's more brutal than our Bruce from our normal world, Earth Zero. However, that makes sense in the scope of the narrative because the level of violence in this is scaled way up.
Way up.
Way the hell. Like they're talking about like setting freaking daycares on fire and, you know, leaving people like chopped up, and like we don't see that. You know, it's not a rated M for mature book, but
it's not Black Label.
Yeah, no, it's not a Black Label book. No bat dongs here.
Dang it, I was going to make that joke.
Beat you to it. But the thing is, his level of brutality makes sense in the scope of the narrative they're telling in this other world. But yeah. I do like that they Snyder goes out of his way to show you, not just tell, but show you that he's still not killing.
Mm-hmm. No, everything when we, that's the thing is that, yes, it's a darker take on everything, a more gritty, more violent, but you like that. It's so rare that we see like reinterpretations like this that keep that same very like real essence of who the character is, where you can believe that it's a variant of them rather than just
Snyderverse.
Right, exactly, which is what Timon is saying. Which is why have I not put this together yet? Scott Snyder, Zack Snyder. There's something. There's something there. You guys make your own jokes, okay? But yeah, so we're introduced to Bruce, who is literally like, this dude is huge. I know we were all making fun of.
He's Arnold in his prime.
We were all making fun of this. I know I was. I know Andrew was. We were like, "What is going on with this Batman? Like, why is he so like a tank?" But man, once you see him like standing in front of you, like in that panel, you're just like, "Oh, never mind. This guy means fucking business." Like, oh man. So
he is huge.
So we learned that Bruce's parents weren't gunned down after a movie. They were instead gunned down by a random mass shooter, or his father was gunned down by a mass shooter at a zoo field trip they were taking when Bruce was a kid. We are introduced to a few regular familiar faces from across Gotham. This is this black guy here. It's Waylon Jones. That's Killer Croc. We get this childhood picture that sort of shows all of the villains and Bruce have been like childhood friends. Like you can see Catwoman's in there. There's what's his name is in there? Oh, Cobblepot's in there. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, making them all sort of friends at the beginning, which we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, then we get to our villains, like Black Mask here. He just this was I loved this moment, even though it's a little like edgy,
yeah.
But. Yeah, so basically Black Mask invites these mob bosses over to his house, and the mob bosses are like, look, your party animal gang does not, like, they're ruining business. This is too dangerous. You're encroaching in our territory. If you don't stop, we're going to have to take care of you. And so Black Mask gets up, and he's like, oh, let me show you something. Here's my collection of death masks. And for those of you who don't know what those are, back in the, like, 1800s, 1700s, blah, 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 when somebody died, they would do a plaster cast of their face, and that's what they would use to like represent them. And it was just a thing. There was no spiritual connection behind it or anything. It's just a sort of remembrance memento. And so he's showing off all these famous death masks he has. He has Socrates, Martin Luther, George Washington. And then he like moves over and he's like, and there's your brother, and there's your cousin. And then he goes, oh, and these two spots right here, that's for you. And then just immediately like has his goons take him out.
Yeah.
This is like a good scary villain. Like this makes me feel like we're not messing around. Like I'm actually kind of scared about what this version of Black Mask is going to do. If you dislike, this is the complete opposite of the Black Mask in that Harley Quinn movie, who was just the Tumblr straw man that everybody wanted to criticize. This is like a threat. I have no idea what he's doing. Like this. This is how much he creeps me out, and how he like much of a villain they're communicating is. So, obviously, like we see during the party, he's got like the DJ with his like mask on. He's got this hot model with the mask on, but then he's got like this kid who's just like out and hanging around. We learn that she's one of the assassins too, but. Mm-hmm. It seems they don't say anything or necessarily imply anything, but the fact that it's there, it puts it in your mind, and it just makes you sort of, or at least it made me uncomfortable because I'm like, why are they there? There's no good answer for them being there right now, you villain. Then we finally get first we get a town hall meeting where Commissioner Gordon shows up, and all the citizens of Gotham are super concerned about the party animal gang. The party animal gang decides, oh, let's just crash the city hall meeting. And it's not even to do anything. It's just to shoot them all up. Like, they literally are just, like, coming up to cause chaos. So they break in. We get introduced to the absolute Barbara Gordon, who is a black girl. She's right down there. No idea if Jim's supposed to be black or not. I just can't tell from the art. Like, the Dragotta uses, like, dark tones on his skin anyway, so I can't tell if Jim's supposed to be black. But we have a black Barbara Gordon. We'll see how that pans out. But then for the most part, the gang breaks in. Batman shows up. I like this, where, like, Batman, like, shows up, grabs the guy, swings him out of the door.
Pops his head down.
Yeah, and he's like, whatever
door,
you do, don't open this door. I love that.
When we see the flashback later on of his father rushing him and the other kids into a secure room when that shooting was happening at the zoo, he says that same line.
Exact same line.
Echoing his father's line. The difference being, Bruce isn't some spindly little,
like grade
middle
school
income
teacher.
or low income grade school teacher. He is a ripped jack brick house. That's literally
a man. That's the only term I keep coming back to, and I even put it in my Bounding article about the Black Barbara. Like, Bruce is just a brick shit house. Like, there's no like, he is huge.
He's so huge, man. It's ridiculous.
So then, Bruce goes full bat on them, and takes the fight to the gang. And this is like, I don't know, man. We saw this in previews, and I don't know if they really took for you, but this page is so cool. Like, you learn how he has like hooks on his wing things, like bat arms, and he just like flings the dude like right into a window, into a pole. Like, I'd love to play a video game with that mechanic. That would be amazing. Oh, yeah. Then we see he like can use it to like walk, to like get some extra leverage. We see him get really, really brutal, but this is that part that you were talking about, and I really like this part too. So we see our Batman. We see absolute Batman's huge. He's a tank. He's got all these weapons and spikes, and he's brutal. But
he's missing vital areas.
So this old guy you've been seeing with the white mustache and the beard, that's Alfred. Who here he is still military like age serving. He has no idea about the Waynes, so he's been sent here to observe what's going on. We don't know why, we don't know by who, but then they order him, hey, if you see the party animal gang attack get interrupted by anybody, you can engage, like, don't stop the attack, but you can engage anybody who tries to stop it. We don't, again, that's one of the questions now, what's going on?
Yeah,
we'll find out. Yeah,
they're like cool with just observing a mass murder.
I know,
but and then they're like, if somebody tries to stop the mass murder, stop them. Like,
yeah, I was just like, oh man, Alfred, what have you gotten yourself into?
Yeah.
But so Alfred's observing, and he's sort of taking in everything about Batman, and he gives this observation. You're fast, steady, above all, focused. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Yeah, you have. You've trained too. Mixed martial arts, your own blend. Muay Thai, BJJ, but you're a striker above all. Brutal yet precise. You're putting on a show. A leg stomped on so everyone hears the crack. An arm snapped over your knee, sending a message. And the knife work, my lord, so bloody, yet you miss each artery by just enough. No fatalities at all. Not one. Like, that to me, I was just like, okay, this Batman, this feels like this is what people want when they say, like, I want my dark, gritty Batman. Like, they want this. They don't want Snyder going in and branding people who have already been, like, processed and put in jail. They want, like, I will shred you, but I will not kill you. Like, this feels like the right way to do an edgier one.
You cannot do the things that you would continue to do if I didn't do this. However, I'm not going to become a monster myself. Who the hell brands people?
I've always hated that decision. Like, absolutely. Who was it? Mary asked, how does Mav feel about the Snyderverse? I am generally not a fan of it because Zach did stupid, edgy crap like that. Like, that to me, defeats the entire purpose of Batman. Same with the Zod neck snapping. I'm never going to be all right with that because fly him away, do something else. Like you didn't have to snap it right in front of the kid. At least you could have gone away. So I don't even think I can. What did I like about the Snyderverse?
I like the
Henry
first
Cavill.
Wonder Woman film, but
yeah, I like that first Wonder Woman film. I liked Henry as Superman. I think that's probably about where it stops. I mean, they ruined the Flash. They like for me, and I'm probably for Andrew, like that being our favorite character and seeing that happen to him on the screen, that sucked. That was like, I was pissed from the minute he showed up on screen, and that kind of soured the rest of my viewing experience because I was like, I don't like this Flash. I don't like Ezra.
Nope.
At all. He's like never. I mean, thank goodness he's not acting anymore. Yay, Mary can continue respecting me. Oh, did you think I was a Snyder bro? No. What is it? Sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix. The dumbest campaign I've ever heard of in my life. Just fundamentally misunderstanding how anything in this world works. So then we get his gimmick, which was taking that really admittedly dumb bat symbol and turning it into a legitimate axe.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of the symbol, but I gotta say, man, I'm a fan of that.
Functionally, it's badass.
Yeah.
As the symbol, it looks so clunky and dumb because I already don't like the fatter bat symbol. You know, like your Dark Knight Returns bat symbol. I'm not a fan of that one. I never have been. However, functionally, that's cool.
Yeah, like you can't get over how
when he does that, you're like, oh, stuff's about to go down.
Says no word. The guy just says, "Get the fuck out of our way." No words, and just shunk and then hand off. And then, but then you can also see that part we were talking about, like that dodging brutality, because he's like, you know, I cut your hand off. If you run, there's a hospital 3 blocks down the way.
They can reattach it.
Yeah,
right.
And he's like, I don't seem to remember all of a sudden, but I'd run. Like he's giving him the chance, and he even gives a chance to the gang down there. Like the rest of you, I'm going to give you a chance to get out of here, or to get out of my way. And of course,
he's got these spikes on his back.
Dude, this moment right here, I loved this moment where Alfred's watching him and the gang turns tail and runs. They're like, "Oh no, Batman!" And Alfred's like, "That well done. But if you were a true tactician, you'd have set up a trap for those fleeing the." And then next second, Batman blows it up, and I'm like, "Yes!"
Yep.
Like this is the Batman I'm talking about.
Yeah, he has a couple of those moments where he gets surprised by how much of a tactician Bruce is. We'll get to the other one here.
The other one, I know you and I probably have the same one. That one is so awesome. I was like, right? I was just like, oh, this fucking book. But
I was like, there's my world's greatest detective.
So we get after the explosion, Alfred goes in to engage. This is where they finally come face to face for the first time. And you kind of get a glimpse of more of Bruce's personality because Alfred goes up to him, tells him, you know, this is the sound of a DC-34 automatic shotgun. There are only 3 in the world, and I could kill you right now. And Bruce just like kicks him.
He just freaking gut checks him with that kick.
And then just sounds dangerous and takes it. Like,
yeah, he takes the gun.
Just so like this is Batman. Like you don't mess with Batman. But then we get Alfred, he starts tracking him, trying to learn a little bit about more about Bruce, which is how we get our exposition about him. So we find out, oh yeah, you are right here. He's 24 years old. Mom is a social worker. Dad is a teacher. You grow up in Crime Alley. You're smart in school. You test your genius levels. Then he apparently was like a boy genius. He designed a deployable bridge that extends out like a bat wing for emergencies and stuff, which would be very helpful in Florida right now. Absolute Bruce, please send us those designs. And then we learned that he kind of got into some like trouble, started, you know, obviously there he's getting his mugshot taken. He goes to Gotham U on a football scholarship, then intentionally hurts himself so he doesn't play anymore, but he can stay at school. At school, he learns all the things we know of Batman, you know, criminology, world, like history, battle tactics, all that sort of stuff. Then so he is a construction worker now who has worked on like at every level of public works. And I thought that was really interesting. Like they note here, like you were worked in the power grid, then the water department.
He gets to learn the layouts and blueprints of things by doing that.
And like
so he can become an even better tactician that way. Knowing your environment is so crucial.
I thought that was such a good setup detail instead of just being like, oh, he's a construction worker who decided to do justice. Like, no, that's just sort of the method he's using to get his crusade going. If you will.
The construction work is just a tool.
Yeah, even better. There you go. It's just a tool. Then we get the big reveal, or a big reveal, that Bruce's mom is still alive. Like Andrew said earlier, she wasn't at the zoo when everything went down. So Bruce,
and he wound up saving her.
Yeah, right.
Town hall.
At the town hall. Yeah, because she, in case you guys didn't notice, she is the woman who stands up here and is like basically telling everybody, like, we need to band together, stop being divided, like it's us versus the gang, let's like keep our heads. And then the gang comes in and we all saw what happened after that. So Bruce's backstory, we learn his mom's alive. Alfred considers, I might just get back at him now and kill his mom, but then he decides not to because he's just a kid. Then we get the second confrontation where Batman's Batcave, I guess, is in these high-rise buildings, which he uses because, as we all know, this actually does happen in real life. Oftentimes, companies will rent out entire floors for potential offices or for something and just never do anything.
Security.
Yeah, or for security, right? Like you've got your business up here. No, you don't want anybody below you. You don't want anybody above you, that sort of stuff. So Bruce sets up in these empty floors of all these construction projects, and that allows him to stay undercover. Alfred finds this out. He goes to confront him, tell me about what's going on. I'm closing you down. And this is where we get, like, this is the part Andrew and I were gushing about, because they're gun up, says, I'm putting you down. Batman whips out the same shotgun that Alfred had a second ago, domes him, like straight, just headshots him.
He freaking domes him right there with that shotgun.
I legitimately, with the way this book was going, I did not know what was going to, I did not know, as we find out on the next page, that he modified it to be non-lethal. I legitimately was like, did he just freaking blow Alfred away?
Did he just brain him?
I didn't think Alfred would be dead. I figured he'd come back with a messed up face or something, but I was just like, dude, this is a different universe. Okay.
Yeah.
But we get this
modified it,
which is so awesome. And then I love this. It's and then a few things happen very fast, says Alfred. First, I realized the little shit modified my prize shotgun to be non-lethal. Ruined it. Second, I hear that very gun clatter by my side as though he's saying, keep it. Third, I hear this roar. The roar of my own damn bike. And then Bats just cruises out of the high-rise window, and off he goes into the night. And that's sort of where we end the main narrative. We then get a small tease, which shows that earlier in the issue, Alfred was reassigned from his original mission to track the party animal gang. Turns out his original mission was to follow a businessman known as the Joker. We have no idea what's going on with him. It's just, here he is. We have a Joker. Let's see how that plays out. So that is the first issue of Absolute Batman. And at least on my end, oh God, that's what you end it with? That's what you end it with? An ad for that? But
go away, Tom King. That's actually a good piece of art.
Daniel Sampier rules, and they give the worst people the best talent, and no idea how to stop them from doing that.
It's unbelievable.
At least for me, as you guys could probably tell from just our general discussion here, I loved this issue. I thought that this sort of blew away all the expectations I had. I genuinely was looking at the Absolute Universe as sort of a tired Johnny-come-lately, oh, you guys are doing your Ultimate Universe for the 900th time. Okay, you've tried, whatever. But this is different enough from the original continuity and also respectful enough of that original continuity that I think it blends together and it works really well. And I think that speaks to Snyder, because Snyder's one of the best Earth Zero Batman writers, right? He did the Court of Owls stuff, all that. So when you tell him, go make a new Batman, he's not going to do the thing where he just deviates 100% and makes him, a Flash. He's going to make him Batman. And to me, nothing here felt out of character for what I would assume. If you were like edgy Batman or grittier Batman rather, this all sort of falls into line of what I would put forward like as my pitch.
Maintaining the integrity of Bruce's character, like the non-lethality. He's being brutal, but he's not being cruel. That's a good
differentiator.
Because when you go into the territory of like freaking Zack Snyder branding people, that's cruel. That's actually psychotic. That's like there were people in the not too distant past that branded people, and we don't like those people.
We do not like those people.
Like that's an important distinction to make, right? Between being brutal, to the degree of necessity, right? Just to a degree of necessity, and sending a message.
Like a good way to put it is Wolverine is brutal, Punisher is cruel, right? Like if Punisher gets you, he's going to torture you. That's what he's going to do.
You.
But
Wolverine will just kill you.
He'll hack you. It'll be bloody and he'll come for you, but it's swink and it's done. Unless you're reading Wolverine Revenge, where your fight takes 5 pages and it looks amazing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I actually really appreciate what Scott did here with Bruce's character, because he did maintain the integrity of the character while doing some new things and putting him in a different setting. Like this does feel like an actual what if Bruce didn't come from money.
Right.
How might that look, right? And then a couple of other different things. So like, because he didn't come from money, Alfred wasn't the butler to the Waynes, right? He wound up staying with the military or whatever secret, organization
agency he's with now. Yeah.
He's working with somebody, and they're probably going to be a problem somewhere down the line because of what they seem to be.
What if it's the court? What if it's the court, the absolute court of owls, and that's why they're like, let that chaos go, because that messes up the city more for us.
Oh,
I just had that right now. I just had that right now.
About that.
It was us talking about Snyder and me saying that court of owls a second ago. That makes sense. It was a delayed click, but then it clicked.
Yeah, I honestly, this is probably my book of the week.
I'm gonna say it's my book of the week too.
I think, and guys, to reiterate,
for real,
I had no interest in this book. Okay, leading up, if y'all are in my Discord, you've seen Spencer and I talking about the Absolute Universe, and I've had like zero interest in it outside of having like respect for the creative teams that they were putting
which
on
are
two
good.
of the books. Right, so for Superman, and for Batman, like I respect the writers, so that played a part in me picking this up. But I also, if we're gonna talk about things here on the podcast, I want to be intellectually honest about it. I'm not gonna just take somebody else's word for it. Like, and credit to Spencer, like he didn't try to sway me one direction or the other either. All he did was after he had finished writing it or reading it, he typed in my comic pen.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman, really good. Like that's all he did.
That's
like,
all I said.
No contest, nothing. Like he wasn't trying to sway me one way or the other. I had seen online other people's like one-liner opinions and things like that, and I didn't read too much into it because I want to consume it myself and form my own opinion organically. And if we're going to talk about something here, I want to remain intellectually honest. I don't want to just parrot somebody else's opinion.
Nope.
Even if my opinion ends up aligning with theirs. And I think that's what wound up happening here, which is you and I both really liked this book. They did a great job with it. I'm glad that the interior art was much better than the cover because I'm not about that cover.
It's not great. I also feel like it undersells the cool Batman design, like the wings and everything, like the hook. It just doesn't sell it right. It just shows that he's huge.
Yeah, basically. Well, they made each of his thighs as thick as his torso.
They're so giant.
It's like, come on, like even going into the interiors, and yes, Bruce is absolutely jacked and built like a brick house. He's still in proportion for like
he's very proportional,
incredibly built like bodybuilder who also has some martial arts training in there, so you can see the definition and things like that in his legs. Because if he's a martial artist, he still has to be agile.
You still have to be lithe, yeah.
That Batman on the front of that cover is not agile. No way. Not with the legs looking like that. I'm sorry. That's not how anatomy works. I don't believe you. However, the interior art was really rock solid. I absolutely enjoyed this book. And I'm genuinely looking forward to the next one. And this, honestly, this is going to have a slight domino effect in that now I'm more looking forward to Absolute
the rest
Superman.
of it, yeah.
I'm not
or at least Superman, yeah. That's what I meant. Because I know you're not interested in Wonder Woman. I'll check out Wonder Woman. I'll let you guys know about it.
I'll pick up issue 1 just to have all 3 number
See,
ones.
that's what I'm doing too. That I don't really have an interest in that Wonder Woman. It seems like the most boring of all the setups. It's like Batman, Wonder Woman comes from hell. All right. I don't know. The other ones seemed way more interesting. And so I'm getting it for like our OCDs won't let us not have that issue. But I don't know if I'll pick up 2 or 3 or 4. Like I know I'm gonna get the next one of this Batman. I have to.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like this is Snyder showing why he is great on a Batman book, even if it's not main universe Batman.
Oh yeah. He's showing I know the Bat, let me write the Bat. And like guys, to sell just how much like this book changed Andrew's opinion upon writing. Like, yeah, it's like Subs got it. Like I had zero interest until I saw Mav running his mouth about it in the Discord. So like for the past, like at least ever since they started dropping preview stuff, like when it first dropped and I saw the cover, I was like, I don't know about this. And then, yeah, as Andrew can attest, they started dropping preview images, little background tidbits. And I was like, oh, okay, this could be interesting. My interest is slightly growing. Yeah, I was like, might be cool. And then as like the weeks drew closer to the release, every time I would drop something, I would get the like what I like to call like the little buddy look from Andrew, which it would be like, dude, did you guys like look at this absolute Batman art? And be like, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're excited about that. Like that's all he would say, and I'm just like, somebody like this with me. So the fact that he walked away from it being like, I love this, that is just testament. Like like this book, I just
that's my book of the week.
The hook arm thing, man. I want more of that. That is just
yeah. That was cool.
Just like chaining it around their neck and then whing. Just like right into the pole. So yeah, easily my book of the week as well. Also my foil cover of the week, because that Jim Lee one is just absolutely gorgeous, regardless of it being absolute Batman. Like it's a Jim Lee piece. How could it not be?
And Jim Lee makes absolute Batman look pretty solid too.
He does. You guys can go check out or you can check out the thumbnail. I know we looked at it a little bit earlier. I'll just pull it up again because why not? Jim Lee, absolute Batman. Golden Apple Comics. There we go. And then just switch the window over to that. There you go. There's your Jim Lee Ultimate Batman. Or absolute. I'm never going to stop this, guys. Like, I think, like...
It's Ultimate Universe in DC. That's what it is.
By the time we get... Oh, no. Like, I think, is Superman next week? Or is it the week after that?
I think it's the week after. Let me double check now. Now I'm actually...
Either way, next time we have the show, I'm going to try and set up a counter for... It's going to be called, like, Spencer's Ultimate Counter. And anytime I say Ultimate, I want you guys to call me out. And I'm going to, like, ding it up. And we'll send it to DC. And be like, look, nobody's going to call it Absolute. You should have just gone with what everybody was calling it.
Oh, I hadn't seen this Rafa Sandoval cover.
For, Absolute?
Ultimate Superman? Or see, now I'm doing it. Now I'm doing it.
Let's see. Let's go to Previews World. Yeah, that's the standard cover. And what do we got for variants? We've got this Wes Craig one. This is all right. I feel like Wes Craig's art style doesn't work for what they're trying to communicate with the like grittiness of Absolute. You know what I mean? He's not bad.
See, I look at that and I think immediately that that's Connor.
Yeah, actually, I see that too. I immediately see Connor right there.
Early 2000s or late 90s.
Especially with the way he draws the flame gloves here and the boots, it makes it look like 2000s Hot Topic flame clothes rather than glowing, punchy energy. Then let's see.
Neither of us were right.
What's that? Oh, wow. It's a
Superman
while.
isn't until-
Next
yeah,
month?
It's not till first week of November.
Next month? That is kind of shocking.
That's strange. Like
I feel like you would want to keep the momentum going.
that, and I feel like if you're trying to build out a new universe, you want to give people a little bit to sink their teeth into, right?
I mean,
Right
especially,
away?
like, I know some people will say, oh, they did DC All In last week, and now you got Batman. Isn't that enough? And it's like, the All In special didn't give us a taste of this universe. That was one of the things we complained about last week, is they showed us those 3, like, splash images of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. That was it. They didn't even talk about what was different about them. It was just like, we have heroes. And it's like, okay, we knew anything, and then no. So, yeah, that's so weird that it's taking them a month. When's Wonder Woman?
Oh gosh, that's a good question.
If this turns out to be December, I'm going to. Oh, Wonder Woman's in 2 weeks.
So they're doing. Why wouldn't? That's an odd choice.
It's
I don't know why you wouldn't drop. Like, honestly, had it been me, I would have dropped all 3 of them this week.
I would have either dropped all 3 of them this week or done like because they're doing
Batman,
the all-in
then
promotion
Superman,
for
then
the
Wonder Woman.
Well,
like,
but they're also
one week
doing
after the other.
Well, like, yeah, because like they're doing that all-in promotion right now, which remember for the month we get these foil covers, the Daniel Sampier ones. So
Yeah.
do one all-in or one absolute a week. You get your all-in special, your Batman, your Superman, your Wonder Woman, or whatever order you decide you want to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point I'm just like really, really confused about it. But then, yeah, that's the standard Sandoval cover. I'm pretty excited for that one. And then, as always,
There's some really good variant covers for the Absolute Wonder Woman. What the hell?
I know all the Absolute Wonder Women the Absolute Wonder Woman covers are surprisingly like, dang, you put the most effort into them.
Like that Jim Lee one's pretty badass.
Yeah.
The Dan Panosian one is beautiful.
The Dan Panosian one for Midtown Comics, right? The orange background one, is that the one you're talking about?
No.
Oh, he did another one. Look at that. Let's
Cover
pull that
F.
up. Previews World. Absolute Wonder Woman. Bring that over here. Okay. Oh, I got to do the show variants. Let's see. We got that variant, that variant, that variant, and number 1. Let's see. We got another Wes Craig one. Looks that's probably the best of the Wes Craig ones, is the Wonder Woman one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we've got this one. Whose is this one? Jeff DeCall. That one's kind of boring. And we got the stupid logo one. Standard one.
I've never liked logo covers.
I
They
hate
feel
the
like the
logo
laziest
covers.
thing.
And they always say like, oh, this is the incentive cover. And I'm like, who's buying that?
What is my incentive to get this?
When they do it in foil like this, like they're doing for Absolute, it makes a little more sense. But like the From the Ashes books, the X books, they all have the title logo number 1 variant. And it's just flat. Like it's like a flat green thing and then the Phoenix logo. And I'm like, that kind of defeats the purpose of comic books. I don't know who wants that. Yeah. So where's this Dan Panosian one? I want to see
sent
this.
you a link to
Oh,
it on
okay, cool.
Things from Another World.
Of course that's where it is. Oh man. That is a good one.
Yeah,
Why is that not like a standard?
I don't know, but that one's a 1 in 25 incentive variant.
Oh, you're going to be paying for that one.
Yeah, that one's right now 22 to pre-order.
That
with the discount. The current
yeah,
discount.
with the discount, it's going to shoot up. So if you guys want it, absolutely go for it right now. But no, that's super pretty. I like Panosian stuff. I like his cover art.
Beautiful. And what I like here is that this makes it still look like Wonder Woman's face.
Yeah,
they
this
didn't
still
try to like.
Yep.
He didn't try to like super edgify it and make her look more, butch or whatever.
Right.
Because
like this is
the
still
edgy
Diana.
verse. Like that still looks like Diana, right?
Like
Sans
this looks like
tattoos.
Well, it's funny because I was gonna say this looks like it's a Wonder Woman who like, she comes back in issue 6 of your Crisis event, right? Like she disappears in issue 1, comes back in issue 6, and this is what she looks like because she's been on like a quest to, stop Darkseid behind the scenes so we can get the Omega weapon or whatever.
Yeah, she traded out the sword and board buckler style for Guts Sword.
For Guts Sword, yeah, which is what Subhuman is saying here. Corey is headed off to bed later. Corey, I think we're probably wrapping here.
We're pretty much wrapping.
Yeah, because we've hit basically everything we've wanted to talk about. Subhuman says Flash won't be out until I forget there are even those other second wave of Absolute titles. I genuinely forget that those all are coming, like the Green Lantern one, this one. We'll see. We know nothing about that Flash one right now, except for the fact that it's Wally and that he is like a teenager or like he's younger.
Yeah.
That's all we really know at this point. So I know
right
both
now
of us.
They're gonna have to give him like a really cool suit to impress me, because I'm not a fan of like the earring, and I don't know, they made him look a little too Gen Z for me.
He is a little Gen Z, and I totally get that complaint. I'm as we've talked about this, like I'm a little more. I don't like it, but it like doesn't faze me as much. But I agree with you. They need to show something awesome for his suit. Just show us something to make me go, good. Wally's in good hands. We're not getting a like Heroes in Crisis, but real. You know what I mean?
Writing that book, do we even know?
That's a good question. Let's see. Absolute Flash team. Oh yeah, Jeff Lemire. That's who's writing it.
Jeff Lemire's writing
yeah.
it?
And so I'm pretty excited about it. Lemire's pretty damn good.
Lemire's pretty consistently good. So, all right.
Right?
Okay. Well,
did you read his Green Arrow run? I
read part of it, yeah.
I can't remember if it was New 52 or Rebirth, whichever run that was, but that Green Arrow run he did Rebirth. Is like really, really good. Like I walked away from that.
It was New 52.
Dang, was it? Because I know he was on it for a long time, but I remember reading that book and not being a big Green Arrow fan before, and walking away from that being like, all right, I'm totally in. You got me, Jeff.
Yeah, no, he's strong. He's solid for sure.
So I'm excited about Absolute Flash. So yeah, at least with this Absolute Batman, this is a good first start, at least in my opinion. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going. Superman should be interesting. Wonder Woman's got to really impress both of us. Flash, let's be hopeful because it's our boy Wally, and
we'll see.
Let's just see. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sub's I'll give it the first story arc before I make my decision to continue or drop Absolute Batman. Oh, I think that's sort of our general rule here, too, unless we get something like Exceptional, where we just can't stand, where nothing's happening, where we're never going to get it.
Yeah,
dude,
absolutely.
Before we sign off, did you know? So remember that Ben cover I sent earlier, or I had up earlier, the J. Scott Campbell one?
Oh yeah.
Did you know he did like a set? Because like here's a Peter one. He did a Peter one. He did that Ben one.
Oh yeah,
and then he did a Miles one.
I'm pretty sure he also did a Gwen one in that set. I remember.
Oh, in that same set.
Yeah, I remember when that set was being released. I didn't jump in on that one.
I don't blame you. They're kind of boring. Actually, no, I lie. I don't know what I'm saying. I like them. Or Spidey's boring. I would have bought it for the Ben one because it's Ben. Let's put it that way. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that cover looks, I mean, it looks like a lot of other Spider-Man covers. Like that one just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm not
yeah.
particularly huge on the covers that have like
floating heads,
collage of floating heads.
Me neither. I hate that. I hate that. The only reason I'm okay with it here is because I can tell he's homaging the old like
yeah.
There's that one cover where it's like somebody will die and it has all the heads on it. So I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing there. But normally I hate that. Mark Bagley does that a lot, and it always bugs me because I'm like, you can draw, you can actually draw. Okay, and then before signups, just because I saw this in my Google image results right before, or when I was looking for that Spider-Woman cover I showed you from Midtown, that I was like, do you want this? And I never ended up grabbing because I'm dumb. I didn't know that's part of a connected thing. Did you know that? Look at that.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, you get your Gwen Silks, a villain on the Silk cover. Don't know who that is, but yeah, look at that. I didn't know that. That's neat.
Huh. I had no idea. I have one of his connecting covers, and it's 616, Superior, and 2099.
Oh, you got that one. Yeah, I've seen that one around. That one's cool. That one's definitely worth it. Oh, you can buy the certificate of authenticities for your J. Scott Campbells on eBay, like just the certificates. Yeah, there you go. You want your Ghost Spider certificates? 120 for the set.
I'm K.
What we could get you a certificate for your Amazing Spider-Man copy. We can do that. That's a capability I've just discovered we have.
I think I'm K.
All right, if you're K, then I think we're K for the night, and we can start our sign-offs for real. We'll go back to the main page, and Andrew, let them know what you've got going on.
Just the usual stuff this week, really. So Saturday afternoon, I'll have my Saturday solo stream across all the platforms I stream on: Twitch, YouTube, X. Going through the DLC expansion for Xenoblade 2 right now.
Torna.
Exactly. And then Sunday evening, we'll be back with the community night stuff, Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. I think it's next week when the new Mario Party comes out, so we might add that into the rotation. It seems like
you guys were just playing it the other night. You and like Trace and everybody.
Yeah,
or,
we were
like
playing,
Adam were playing it. Yeah, Reeve.
Yeah, we were playing the Super Mario Party Superstars or whatever the heck it's called.
Whatever that new one. Yeah, the greatest hits collection one. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So Mario Party Jamboree will be out, I think, next week. We'll be checking that out. Apart from that, guys, make sure you check out, as far as indies go, make sure you're checking out Horseman. Make sure you check out the Iron Studios collaboration ISOM statue that we just launched. And the Common America crew just launched Volume 10 for that. It's already over $100,000, so huge shout out to the Iconic Comics team and all the fantastic work that they do over there. They're absolutely killing it. And they're one of the, if not the only guys in the indie Western comic sphere that have a massive presence in another country. They have a
huge Japanese fan base
in Japan. Like they're killing it over there. It's wild to see, and it's awesome to see. So
do you guys have the statue up on the there it is.
Yeah,
there it
Studios. That sucker's 1/8 scale, so it's big. It's big.
Do you have any big Do you have any big statues like this?
I have the Widowmaker and Mercy statues from the Blizzard store.
Yeah.
And those are pretty big. Those
are pretty big.
About 11 inches. The Widowmaker might be 12 if I count the top of her
if
hair.
you do the gun. Or doesn't she have the gun up? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true as well. And then I have my two DC Gallery series Supergirls. So I have the Michael Turner one, and I have the Art Germ one as well. So those are pretty big as well.
Yeah. I was just wondering, because I've never gotten one of these, like
gigantic. I don't have any 1/8 or 1/6 or 1/4 scale statues yet.
I don't have any of those. I think the main one someday I want to get like a 1-to-1 scale, and I know you've seen them at like shops all the time. The lanterns, like the actual like green lanterns. Cool. I want that, and I'm just gonna stand in front of it and recite the oath every day.
I need to get a replica flash ring. Is what I need to do.
We got it. Like, I'm gonna get you one that can actually open. I can't guarantee it's gonna.
I've seen those.
Really? Yes.
I've seen those on eBay. I almost bought one.
Off I go.
It looked pretty cool, but yeah. So yeah, guys, please check out that. Check out Horseman. Check out the ISOM statue. Check out Common America Volume 10 over on Kickstarter. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my streams throughout the weekend. And hopefully, this will be a great segue for Spencer, we'll see you tomorrow evening on The Good, Mad, the Ugly.
Look at that. Yes, I hope you guys will join us tomorrow. I am still hosting my regular live stream, even though we talk comics over here. We talk comics here now, and I use the live stream for whatever else comes our way, video games, anime, that fun stuff. Come hang out.
TCG as the replacement lately.
It has been TCG as a replacement lately. It's not my fault Bandai's bad at making products, and I find them raffling new sets that should just be sold while we're live. It's ridiculous. But yeah, guys, come hang out on my channel tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Good, the Mad, the Ugly. Just a general hangout stream where I talk to you guys about whatever you want. Andrew is over there very often making fun of me. He's normally the first commenter, so join him over there. Aside from that, yeah, check out boundingintocomics.com for all your nerd news needs. I think that's about it. Yeah, come back next week, same bat time, same bat channel for another episode of Foil Variant. where we have no absolute books for next week for some reason, thanks DC. So who knows what'll come, but we'll be back with more comics.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, as always. We appreciate every one of you. We're a brand new, small channel, but we'll grow strong with all y'all's support.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. And we see you guys. Hold on. Before we go, yeah, Andrew's right. We see you guys out there. We see our channel numbers growing. We see you guys talking to us. We see you guys watching in the replay. So genuinely, thank you guys, because I know we're having a lot of fun here. We're both looking forward every Thursday talking about what we picked up, to the point where we are so bad about hosting a show where we talk about comic books, because you and I spend like 4 hours before the show starts talking about what we read. Like, we're so bad about that. But yeah, guys, just from the bottom of our hearts, thanks for hanging out. Can't wait to see you next week. And I will be hitting our outro intro as soon as I get to the right folder. All right, everyone, go check out Isom, go check out Absolute Batman, and we'll see you next week.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but I've been...